to another Monday Night Franks recast here on Frank's Retirement Home. Coming at you this time with a quarterfinal matchup in the Walker division. I am Dr. Shrew, joined by Halanu tonight. As we get ready to head into picks and bans, Halanu, how you feeling going into this one?
Oh, feeling great. Some late night smite action. We love it. It's way past my bedtime. God knows what's going to come out of my mouth in the next couple hours. I'm so ready.
Yeah, it's West Coast diff for me. It's not even 8 p.m. yet. I'm ready and vibing for whatever comes our way. I'm excited.
Exactly. Should be fun sets. Glad to get some quarterfinals, some playoff action rolling through. And Frank's is always entertaining. So looking forward to it.
Yeah. No matter what, if you're watching a game in Franks, be it Canes or Walkers, there's gonna be some random stuff that just catches you off guard because that's just the territory of Franks, and I'm always here for that. Picks and bans getting started for this quarterfinal match. Both these teams going to be going all out, trying to make it further into playoffs, trying to get the title here. And immediately we see some pretty hefty bans coming out from both sides. The Cuckoo and the Cthulhu taking off the board right off the bat.
Kukulkan's not even necessarily the best character anymore, but he's just annoying, man. I think people are tired of playing against the Noodle. It breaks my heart. He's so much fun, but a lot of people just don't want to deal with it, and I don't really blame them. He is very annoying to dive taken away. The Cthulhu he has so much pressure now with that change to his 2 conduit gem being so good, and then Odin taken away as well. One of those characters that seemingly just never dies right now, can abuse Bobble, doing very well in the meta.
Yeah, I like the bans we're seeing. I mean, Kuzenbo included in that conversation as well. Got that little bit of a nerf in the most recent patch, but he still just feels so oppressive to your backline, so hard to get rid of, and the kind of flexibility. But we mostly see him in solo, but the fact that you can see him in support as well, I like that ban. And then it's the Jing Qian taken away to round out the first set of bans here from Going Ghost. I like a Jing Qian ban, but I don't know if it's. I mean, do you think it's worth a ban here in the first phase?
He's definitely in that like top 5 solo laner conversation. I think Wukong might just be a little bit better than the Jing
Hmm.
Chen, but he's definitely very annoying along with Kuzenbo, Cthulhu, Odin. So if they're worried about the solo laners here, that it's a reasonable ban in my opinion. Same thing with the Ognites in that that top 5 mid laner conversation with the Martys, the Thoths, the Cuckoos of the world. So if you don't want to deal with it, I have no issues just taking it away. And speaking of no issues, Hachiman, big shock, gonna be
Yeah.
picked first overall here.
Yeah, I feel like there was a window of a few patches where Hachi wasn't the guy over there in that dual lane, and then he just immediately reprised that role. Great first lock in overall here for Going Ghost. It's going to be answered back immediately by the Gibelanke on the side of Baba's Kitchen, excuse me, and pairing that up with the Ganesh. That's a strong dual lane and a strong answer back to the Hachi, in my opinion.
Yeah, the X-Ball Ganesh, it's a little bit low pressure. That's the only thing I'm worried about there. But team fight potential, very good. Turn out the lights, drop a cage, get a couple more big team fight ultimates to go along with that. Can be very good. Have to be careful in lane depending on what's picked here. X-Ball doesn't have the best clear in the world, either does the Ganesh. But I'm sure they'll figure it out through lane. As long as you're not losing your buffs, it doesn't really matter too much what happens over there in the duo. And Charon getting hovered here by GG. Character has received a lot of nerfs recently. You still see teams gravitating to him. A little bit more in support now than mid. There was a big wave of Charon mids going through some of the amateur leagues. I think we're starting to see fall back into support a little bit more as his damage numbers got tuned down, but still very potent character.
Yeah, can bring so much, especially with that global ultimate, just sending the wave, praying that you're gonna help out your solo laner when you throw it from dual lane. Doesn't always happen, but that's always at least my my hope when I'm playing Charon. They will lock it in, and they'll also lock in their jungle pick. I'm gonna be pretty confident that it's a jungle pick in this Thanatos, though I suppose it could go elsewhere. But Thana,
And
he's
solo.
good. I'd
I
love to
have
see it.
seen it in relatively serious comp games. I don't expect it to happen often at all, but there's always a chance, man. Always a chance. And on the side of Baba's Kitchen, they lock in the kind of the answer here in the classic combo with the X Ball, that Ratatasker. Figured there was likely a Ratatasker or a Thor coming through with that X Ball ultimate. Such a good combo, tried and true. You know it works. Why go away from it? And MLF taken away immediately. Maybe a little bit of a target ban on the side of Baba's Kitchen here. And Thoth made it through the top three. Will not be available in that bottom four.
Yeah, I was gonna mention the Toth because it made it pretty deep into this draft, but I was just thinking in my comp games, like I can't play Thoth for shit. I'm a mid laner, but I just can't figure him out. And I thought maybe that was just both teams had a mid like me, but it seems like they will respect it. They will take it away. And mid bans are like all that's coming through right now. Merlin is the final ban for Baba's Kitchen, and there's that Wukong that you mentioned earlier getting taken away by GG. And they have put a lot of kind of bans towards Chef Baba on the side of Baba's Kitchen, which makes sense to me. He's kind of always been one of their playmakers. They left a pretty good pickup for him, someone who kind of has always been around in that solo meta, and you can never really count him out. The Cucullin locked in for Baba's Kitchen. How do you feel about this one?
I've actually become a big fan of Kakon recently. I know quite a few solo laners have started to play around with this pick more and more recently, especially with those conduit nerfs coming up soon. Not quite live yet, but hopefully next batch the pesky guardians are pushed out of solo a little bit at least. And Kakon feels really good right now. He loves redstone. Lets him get so tanky, just full tank with redstone. You're basically unkillable and do still do enough damage just by the nature of Kakolin's kit. The double kit rotation feels really good, and some spicy picks though on the side of Going Ghost. See a Bologna, which isn't really that popular anymore. You know, it was very meta a couple months ago, but fell off quite a bit. And then an Eggshell, which is a pick that you rarely see at all anymore. And that's, I mean, it's an interesting pick. It does a lot of burst. It's still something I personally like playing, just kind of in my ranked and casuals games. But she's very easy to dive and kill in a competitive or at least more organized setting.
Yeah, yeah. But I love that we're seeing this though. That's why you watch Frank's Retirement Home. That's why you watch these Walker Division games, because you can see picks that you don't get to see everywhere else, and comfort plays such an important factor here. And if Turbo is comfortable on this eggshell, as you mentioned, I mean, there's a lot of burst and damage that can come out of a god like this. I'm really looking forward to see how this one plays out. I gotta ask you the hard question though here, Halanu. We now can see all five members on both teams. Their picks are locked in. It's quarterfinals. Who are you giving game one to?
I like the draft from Baba's Kitchen here a little bit more. I think I'm not super sold on this Poseidon, but everything else, I love the Ganesha, Kakolin, Ratatosker, and the X Ball. I think that's such a great team fight synergy. And the Poseidon has okay matchups here into most of the Going Ghost draft. It has a good matchup into that Eggshell. She doesn't have a great way to get away from Kraken, or really any way to get away from Kraken. Has an okay matchup at the Thanatos. You can beads and drop that Kraken on your feet. It gives you some nice turnaround potential against that. You have a Bologna diving you, which the knockback on the Poseidon one is a very good way to just get Bologna off of you. So has some pretty good matchups here. Very non-standard picks in the mid lane, but they both have avenues to be successful this game. And you talked a little bit about the Eggshell, but she you see her so little at this point that people forget how much burst she does, especially early. The double hit of her one when you confirm it does so much base damage that you can really catch people off guard, get some easy first bloods in the mid lane if you play confident and accurately with it.
Yeah, I agree, and I was excited to watch this Isho play until we got to see the items. Item before starter is the build order for Turbo right now, and I immediately hate it. It always bugs me. Why would you buy an item before starter? You're a mid laner, right, Halani? Why would you ever do that?
Oh, I hate it. I hate casting it. I hate looking at it when I build it. It's just wrong. It just defies the natural order, man. Thankfully, PV has saved us from the Ratatosker special, where you can actually get that starter item into the 4th
Yeah.
slot if you try hard enough, which is just absolutely disgusting to look at. Thankfully, he has not done that. A sensible man at least puts it in the second. Can't put it into the first due to the acorn, but he gets a pass there because it is not his choice on Ratatasker.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. The other thing I want to talk about, you mentioned, drop the cage, turn off the lights as a combo that Baba's Kitchen's going to have. And you said, drop some other team fight ultimates. Kraken is a pretty good team fight ultimate. If you can't leave the cage, but there's a whirlpool underneath your feet and you're getting hit by a Kraken, I mean, that's a pretty good team fight kind of plan that this Baba's Kitchen draft can just kind of freely do.
Absolutely. Call him with that knockup inside the cage too. It's a really good
Yeah.
team fight draft. A nice succulents there from the Caroline. Grabs the dash from the Ganesha, whether it was an intentional or not. Nicely timed out there. Pressure though, actually surprisingly going over to the side of Baba's Kitchen as Hachi Caron lane. Should be getting pressure here for the most part, but Caron dashes through, gonna get a little bit of poke, but pretty darn even so far that we see Ratatasker heading over for maybe a little bit of a cringe level 2 gank, if you would.
Could be answered by Marchi on the Thana as well. Both junglers lurking, but decide to back up. I feel like people underestimate the branching bowlers on that X-ball, given quite a bit of pressure in that lane in that early game as a definite option. But neither team getting too aggressive so far anyway. I mean, if you're in a quarterfinal situation, ooh, that's a low health bar for Chef Baba there on the Cullen. If this is like, playoffs, do you want to see teams get aggressive or do you want to see the safe kind of slow and steady play style?
I am best. You're still in best of 3 territory, no best of 5s coming out yet. So, I mean, honestly, I think it's just down to what your team's been doing the whole season. You made it to the quarterfinals, and you're doing something right. Hachiman, very low there, able to dash out. Okay, though, but if you're a team that's been jamming pressure all season, keep jamming pressure. If you're a team that's just been thriving in the late game, then play it safe and let it go. I don't think there's really any reason to change up your play style in quarterfinals. Best of 5s tend to lend themselves a little bit to that aggressive play style. Come out, try and steal a game with a just uber aggressive comp, but best of 3s kind of, just go with whatever has gotten you here.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I feel like the aggression coming out right now onto the Ganesh, though, could be trouble for this, and it is. Shrimp Warrior will get the support first blood for Going Ghost to kick things off for this Order side team. And that pressure in the dual lane that you mentioned should go the way of GG. It does eventually get there.
Yeah, X-Ball Ganesh just can't clear the wave very well as Davo comes, gets a return on another return and another kill for Ghost, excuse me, in the soul lane. Nice gank there from the Thanatos coming up with that kill before he hits level 5. Nice to see these semi-global junglers getting active before 5, and purple buff stolen away by GG as well.
Good invade here, and even more pressure on this left side. You had also mentioned on the desk, as long as you don't start losing those buffs, it doesn't end up mattering. But now first blood in the dual lane, you lose the second purple of the game. I mean, are we you need to be worried for this dual lane yet? Or are we still just kind of vibing?
I mean, it's 3 minutes into the game. We're still vibing a
It's
little
true.
bit. Yeah, you start losing that second, third, purple buff and green buff. They also didn't lose the green buff there, which is very important. Eggshell using her ultimate there for some poke. Poseidon looking for the Kraken. Doesn't feel like he can pull the trigger, but a Ratatasker over the top. Not quite
It's
enough.
the Aegis. That was surprised. I don't know why we didn't see the Kraken, and Marchi absolutely turns things back around. That's 3 for make that 1 in favor of Going Ghost as Chef Baba shows up for Baba's Kitchen and gets their first return kill over there in the solo lane.
Yeah, it looks like Davo comes at greedied his back a little bit, hadn't used that teleport, was still sitting on that tier 1, now has the full berserkers, so that should feel quite a bit better over in that lane, but poked out from that original fight. Eggshell forced low, but that little bit of healing, completely out of mana, so gonna get forced back, but they do at least survive the regank that Aegis saw in the first slot, kind of common in to the Poseidons of the world. Comes up clutch there, but now no Aegis for the Kraken for the next couple minutes. Could be an opportunity for Scooby Daddy to find some action in the mid lane.
Yeah, that's something that I see a lot of players who are, some of which are better than me by far, getting that Aegis in the first relic slot. I would panic and think it was beads all the time. I have no idea how to play with an Aegis as your first relic in mid lane.
Yeah, there's not a lot of matchups where it makes a lot of sense. Usually it's dependent on the support. Ganesha's not a character that necessarily forces your beads. I mean, there's obviously times it's nice to have that, but Ixchel at the end of the day can just drop that ult to walk out of the cage if they really need to. I wouldn't have complained either way here, honestly, for Turbo, whether it's beads or Aegis in that first slot. And if they are more concerned about that 1v1 in mid, which often when you're picking Excel, it is to try and 1v1 the other mid laner, then Aegis going to be the better tool there. But does give Ratatosker and Ganesha some nice gank opportunities on that Excel.
Well, 5 minutes into this game so far, might actually be trouble over in the left lane for the Xbalanque. Has the dash. The purple buff is stolen, but here comes multiple ults from the side of GG, and the execute is good for Marchi. But that's a lot of damage from the Ganesh. The horrific comes out, and the solo Ganesh kill. Rory picking that one up. You love to see it. The Kraken comes out. That's a lot of burst, and Marchi falls as well, but no eyes on the Poseidon there. A solo Ganesh kill. Love to see it.
Absolutely love to see it. The cage predicted perfectly, drops it just in front of Jungle Scrub, walks right into it perfectly as planned. Really nicely done by the Ganesh player. And even if, it's not the best exchange, though, ends up being quite well thanks to the rotation over from Scooby Daddy. Picks it a 2-for-1 there. Even if the Thanatos doesn't die there, Ganesh is just happy for the rest of the set. He's got a 1 in that kill column, and that doesn't happen all that often on Ganesh.
Well, trying to get happy in the solo lane is Baba's Kitchen, but Eagles rally good enough for the escape. And Davo comes, will make it out of there safely as the wave goes through your screen. I was going to ask where you wanted to see action now that these junglers were level 5, had that first item online. But I guess I'll answer it for you. It's everywhere. They've just kind of been fighting all across the map.
A little bit of scrapping all over the place. Not too surprised. I mean, Kakul and Bologna, two very standard warriors. A lot of slapping going on in that lane as expected. It means health bars have been a little bit low over there. Ixchel trying to confirm these, gets them stolen away by the Poseidon. Could be in a little trouble here. But Ganeshka not going to drop the cage. Going to be able to walk away.
Yeah, I gotta agree with the solo lane. It's a very scrappy lane indeed, and it seems like these teams are not afraid to scrap. We're about at a kill per minute here, 7 minutes into the game, and more scrapping on the right side. Looks like those Harpies going the way of Baba's Kitchen, at least in some parts. What I mean, does either team have a clear advantage around like objectives? Obviously Kraken, good for that secure. Does that just immediately give everything towards Baba's Kitchen in that regard?
It's a pretty even matchup, honestly. I think Ixchel might have a slight edge on that mid beacon fight. Very close over there for Chef Baba, nearly another kill, and it looks like Kraken comes out for the support of Charon. They do not want to let us talk. I do think that mid beacon favors Ixchel just a little bit, has more AoE often on those beacon fights, comes down to the team with better AoE abilities. Poseidon has the Whirlpool, sure, but it's, unless people are walking into Whirlpool for you, not going to get a whole lot of damage off. Really just the Kraken for big AoE abilities, and Ixchel's got 3 of them, plus her ultimate, so has a little bit of poke, and also has some sustain built into her kit. Her 2 does a surprising amount of healing. It heals for like 200 at max rank, and can heal your entire team if you play around it, and that little bit of sustain, a little bit of CC from the Ixchel, very nice at this beacon.
Oh, could be trouble for Scooby Daddy. Dude gets trapped between a wall and a hard place and might just get executed. Perfectly timed from Marchi. And that's another kill going the way of GG. Nothing that Rory could really do to even get over there quick enough. And Jungle Scrub barely making it out with a sliver of HP on the other side while that was happening. I also feel like every time we cut over, Davo is just trapped underneath this tower.
Yeah, Davo not having a great time over there. Colin goes to the phalanx. Second item, not something you see all the time on Colin, but into a Bologna that has to auto attack you to do their damage. Honestly, kind of smart pickup along with the contagion, stop that healing from the Scourge on Bologna. Some really smart counter matchup buildings from the Chef Baba, and we see a very aggressive build from Davo comes, assuming that's going to be a Kins there in the second slot. Could be an Executioner as well. Either way, aggressive. He will do a lot of damage to the Column once that's done, but going to be squishy. Just has to play around the ganks. And look how much damage Colin Jump just did.
Oh my god, Dave is just never safe on this Bologna pick and might need to be a little bit careful. Low HP, but still tanky enough to make it away even with the greedier style build. But again, just low HP and might be forced to back. Beacon gonna spawn in 2 minutes. You mentioned the edge, at least on paper, maybe going the direction of going Ghost. We'll have to find out if that ends up happening, as there's a little bit of scrapping in the mid lane. Watch out for the rat on the side of your screen as the lights are turned out, but nothing gonna come from it except for Jungle Scrub, who doesn't need to see to get kills, it appears, taking that 1v1 and left.
Yeah, Xball uses the ult to try and win the boxing trade there. Unfortunately, if you're in auto attack range, you can just see them still. And Jungle Scrub doing a good job of winning that over there. Eggshell gets caught out a little bit, has to ult defensively here. The pillars come out from the Ganesha as well, doing a lot. Eggshell sent running for the hills. Kraken, unfortunately, off the mark, as is the wave. That is a lot of ultimates in the mid lane that aren't going to be available for this beacon fight. They're not done now.
Evie under the tower gets the Aegis out from the E-Shell and now might be on the run, because here comes the Thanatos in the sky trying to find some sort of return, but decides against it. No one low enough to get the execute, and just Marchi wanting to back away instead. Help secure the blue buff and is able to do that. But Dave is low, and there are more members here. Not going to commit to the fight too hard, it seems. That was so much used on both sides, though, as the scrap still kind of continuing here. I don't know if Rory got the memo or not, but they are just deep right now on this Ganesha, being so annoying. Good Whirlpool, lots of damage onto the Charon, but lots of damage onto the Ganesha as well. It's too much for Shrimp Warrior to handle, though, and PV will pick that one up. Good blink to get some safety, but Dave is the one in trouble now. Gets trapped in the Whirlpool, has the Eagles rally away, but the jump from Chef Baba is too much, and that's another kill going the way of Baba's Kitchen. The beacon spawned all the while, and it's just free money for Turbo right now.
Erdix trying to wrap over and make his way in. PV here as well, and Eggshell not able to get this beacon. They're in a lot of trouble, and two fall down to the X-Ball. I mean, 95% done with the beacon. Unfortunately, not enough. So now should go the way of Baba's Kitchen.
So close. It always feels bad when you get that close to capping the beacon. Actually, Baba's Kitchen didn't cap it either. So still up for grabs. Gold Fury more important to this Chaos side team. They're going to start burning that one down, and it might end up going to GG overall, trading beacon for gold. I mean, which one's more worth it? Because the Kitchen are going to get the Gold Fury, and the GG does pick up the beacon.
Gold Fury's worth a little bit more in terms of just that, the gold and XP. I mean, Beacon's a nice passive bonus. It does give you a little bit of that same gold and XP along with that passive scaling bonus to your damage and structure damage, but Gold Fury generally going to be worth a little bit more than that Beacon. You usually just don't want to give up both. If you lose both, it's a very large gold swing, so trading them out, really not too big of a deal for either team.
Well, taking a look here, 13 minutes into the game, gold lead fairly close, but not gonna have the chance to finish that as the Kraken comes out. Beads and Aegis needed for Turbo to try and live here, but splat as PV lands and gets that kill. Lots of damage onto both supports, though, who need to be careful, but the execute is only available on one side. Out comes the Dharmic Pillars, and Marchi will pick up that kill, but can they make it out safely? Lots of damage on this Thanatos. It's low health for PV, but it's lower health for Marchi, who does end up getting traded out. Support for jungle there, but the mid laner also fell. Lots of damage onto PB now too, though, stuck in the whirlpool. Does manage to dash away, and Paradox will get the return kill onto Jungle Scrub. Might not want to back there, though, as Davo rotates into this fight and cleans up a little bit more. Very back and forth in the mid lane and right jungle. I honestly don't even know who came out ahead there.
I mean, 2 for 2, a little bit of a wash. I mean, I guess probably favors the side
For 3,
of
right?
Bob. 3 for 3, yeah. Probably favors the side of Baba's Kitchen a little bit, just because their support was one of the people that ended up falling down there. But very back and forth fight. I mean, kind of a wash, honestly, at the end of it. But they're scrapping, and I love it. It's playoffs. They came to fight. Neither team wants to give it up. Neither support wants to give up the scepter. The Poseidon's probably gonna force Garon to give it up.
Those are the best moments when two people are just standing in the scepter radius trying to pick it up, especially if it's two teammates who just don't want to give it up.
Poseidon in an interesting position here.
Pyromancer's up. Here comes PV going up onto the branches, but it might not be quick enough. As Scooby Daddy do is just delete it. It's answered back though by PV with a kill onto Turbo. But now the damage is on towards Shrimp Warrior on this Charon, who's trying to make it back towards the tower. Has the help now from Marchie and will be able to safely make it out. But that's a 1-for-1 trade. Both mid laners falling, and again very scrappy, but kind of feels like a wash and let this pyro can go the way of Baba's Kitchen, and they are starting it up, burning it really quickly here with the help of with the help of Paradox, and they will pick up that Pyromancer. It gotta feel like this is going the way of Baba's Kitchen now.
Yeah, good rotation over from Paradox. Have to see what Jungle Scrub's able to get on the other side. So far it looks like, forcing a wave under, forcing that or getting that shield buff. That's the kind of the reward granted. Actually, there's a dive under this tower.
Ooh,
Karen gonna be
so
okay.
close.
Kind of the reward that Paradox gets for getting that tier 1 tower so early over in duos. He can make that rotation a little bit more freely than Jungle Scrub is able to. He is going to get a lot of farm, Jungle Scrub, and might actually pick up a tower of his own. Gold Fury spawning soon. You see Paradox making his way over the duo, but that tower should go down for free here. Hachi has both relics, has the mounted archery. Should be a-okay to do that, and is going to be so. The eyes should be on this Gold Fear coming up. Going Ghost need to start contesting some of these objectives. Can't let Baba's Kitchen get everything for free here.
No, you definitely cannot, especially when you have kind of the team fight presence that they have. Maybe not the objective secure, but definitely a good team fight. And speaking of some of the things that they got going for them, that's a bobble picked up from Archie on this Thanatos as a blue buff invade is unsuccessful by Chef Baba. So you think those scythes hurt and kind of feel like they come out a lot and executes and stuff? That's just going to be happening that much quicker. Do you like this build from Athena in the jungle?
It's a lot of fun. Is it good per se? Probably not. There's not a whole lot of fights you're getting 2 executes off of. You are going to get a lot of sights out, and that will be fun. Assuming that's going to be a Bumba's hammer eventually here, though. A gank coming out onto Davo. Gonna have to be careful here.
Spots it out. PV lurking around the side of this rock, and Davo doesn't seem too perturbed. Does take this fight a little bit, but as you said, needs to be a bit careful. But now has that Executioner, has the Shoguns feeling a little bit more confident on the Bellona as the beacon spawns in the mid lane, and we might get 2 different team fights happening at once here. Davo getting low, but the beacon fully contested by both teams. Here comes the Dharmic Pillars though, and that's the go button for Baba's Kitchen. The Kraken comes out as well as the wave pushes back any further aggression that the Kitchen could look to put out. Aegis needed there from the mid laner, but it seems like they've been able to push back Going Ghost. Rotations in from the side lanes, though, as PV up in the sky looking for more. Lands on the E-Shell, gets out the beads and Aegis, but the Eagles rally stops PV in his tracks. All the while, the beacon is getting capped by Baba's Kitchen. It doesn't look like GG are going to be able to step in and do anything about it. So lots of ults used, but no blood spilt in the mid lane.
No blood spill. They are using that sustain, and here comes Marchie looking for a little bit more.
Lands onto the X-Ball. Lots of damage from this Thanatos, but not enough to find the kill, at least yet. And it looks like it will be able to walk away. Does Paradox, making it out with not too much HP, but it gets to Thanatos walking away with any sort of HP's got to feel good.
Absolutely. And Thanatos, I mean, we touched on the bauble just briefly there, but and while those sights are going to come out very, very frequently, they are going to do less damage. There's no penetration on the item, and it's an okay amount of power on it, so it's not like you're completely gutting your DPS, but not going to be as much as it could be. Gold Fury getting melted by GG.
But it's walking back and forth between that Dharmic pillars. Baba Kitchen walk up and PV takes it away. No Gold Fury for you, GG. Now they could be in even more trouble. PV lands on top of the E-Shell again. But in the sky is Marchie in the back line. Scooby Daddy Doo will get one. Chef Baba will get another. And that's 2 for none and a Gold Fury so far in this fight. Davo trapped in the purple buff pit, trying to make it out of there and cannot do so as Scooby Daddy picks up a double kill for themselves there in the mid lane. That looked like it could have been good for GG, and Baba's Kitchen just said thank you very much for all that golden XP.
Steal the Gold Fury, then use all of those team fight ultimates to chase them down. The Kakolin Ratatosker ults going crazy, and very nice Kraken from Scooby Daddy as well. They were a little bit low from pulling that Gold Fury in the first place. The tanking of it got it, a little bit jumbled there, and as a result, some easy cleanup kills for Baba's Kitchen. Just run to them down. The Ratatosker looking so good early on. Has that Jotuns, has the Hydras, lots of cooldown. Doesn't have as much cooldown as the Thanatos, but still hitting plenty hard on this Ratatosker. I really want to see Thanatos start to do the same sort of thing when these fights go long or become awkward. I mean, people think of Thanatos, as that just that executes button, but it can also be a 2 or 3 man stun in a similar way to the Ratatosker ult can be. You don't always have to use that Thanatos ult as the execute. Can be a nice way to set up for your team as well.
100%. That is a good way to look at it, especially if they're needing to turn around these team fights. Because the gold lead starting to get a little bit more out of hand. 7,000 in favor, maybe 6K, don't do math live on air, in favor of Baba's Kitchen. Thank you. 5.8. I was close enough. Not game breaking, but you're definitely going to feel that in these team fights, especially as we inch towards the kind of fire giant dance that looks like it could be kind of erupting here. It's going to be harder and harder to take these fights if this continues.
Davo getting poked out here a little in the middle of a lot of members. X-Ball ult gonna come out, but his HP is not going down.
It's not. Now it starts to as more members rotate in. Davo, you might have cast a curse. The poor man has to use Eagle's Rally to get out, but PV is just too fast. And we'll get the kill onto the Bologna there. Aeron ult coming out, and into the sky goes Marchie. Paradox will get one, but the execute from Marchie answers back immediately. The Dharmic Pillar's gonna try and slow down the escape of this Thanatos, who has to use the beads to make it out. And it seems like where things might end, but that looks to be in favor of Baba's Kitchen pretty handedly. Would you pull the fire if you were them here?
I think you can. The only thing that might scare you off here is X-Ball went for a Griffin Wing that I haven't had a chance to touch on yet.
Oh.
Not an item that we see very often. It is pretty, it feels good on X-Ball. It gives you that MP5 that he's often missing. They're very mana-hungry character, but does mean his Kins is very, very delayed. And that is such a big power spike. The good news for him is Bologna's going such an aggressive build that lack of Kins probably isn't going to hurt him as much as it could in some other matchups. And if he gets disarmed, it doesn't matter whether he has Kins or not. Ixchel trying to get into this Fire Giant.
Well, trying to do anything to steal it away, but the Kraken is good enough for the secure, and it might just lead to the death of Turbo here. But a good route to try and make it out is living with a sliver of HP, has that sustain in the kit, and Marchie's in the sky, lands down to try and turn things around, but so does PV. Back and forth, and in Eagle's Rally lands in the backline. Poseidon with a sliver of HP remaining. Can they make it out? No. Davo will get credit for that kill. The wave comes through and catches multiple members of Baba's Kitchen. They got the fire giant, but now they're trying to make it out with their lives. Baba very low, but has the transformation just enough to live, and PB actually making it into the backline and getting the kill onto Turbo there is big for this Baba's Kitchen team. PB with the juke boots and the help of the lights getting turned off to live for far longer with full HP. Good dash to juke out as well. They just can't catch this rat. They will commit to the ultimate, and it still will not be enough. Mounted archery can't even keep up with what PB's able to do on this Ratatosker. He just like didn't take any damage in that engagement.
Yeah, a combination of a lot of things. Definitely some good juke books, some good pathing there. A little bit disorganized on the chase by Going Ghost, and now the beacon fight coming up here. I don't think you want this Ghost.
No, I don't think you do at all, and Davo definitely does not. I don't think Shrimp's gonna want it either. PB uses the ultimate, but just to kind of scare off anybody else from GG from even getting close into their Baba's Kitchen, they're just cooking now.
Absolutely cooking. Chef Baba looking great along with the squad. I mean, kill participation high across the board. Love to see that. The whole team getting active early and often. I love most of their builds coming out here as well. Good prioritization of items. Talk about the Griffin Wing, which is, honestly, it's fine on X-Ball. It means he's not going to hit tanks as hard, but as I said, this with the Bologna going 2 offense items, it's not going to matter as much as it could have. The Ganesha's going to get the Charon's going to get fairly tanky at some point this game due to that, but if it's just Charon alive and no one else, it kind of doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. I hadn't noticed the kin size pickup for Davo on the Bologna even after the Executioner. So that is a very damage orientated build. I mean, at what point do you have to start worrying about the damage that's Davo's bringing here?
If he is left alone with a carry, with any of the carries, he will kill them. Probably nobody can 1v1 him. The Ratatasker might be able to, thanks to that Bumble's Hammer and the serrated Jotun's Vigor has enough sustain to fight back through that. It's a very 1v1 oriented build if he's able to get into that backline without Ganesha helping them out or without the backliners peeling for each other. He will just kill them fairly quickly, but if the backliners do a good job, stay together, get some help from their support, they will kill that Bologna very quickly. Once Accent Animosity gets on, that'll help a little bit, get that extra health on there and some more stats, but still level 19 and probably not particularly close to having that item online.
Well, here comes the siege for Baba's Kitchen. They'll walk into the mid-tier 2 and it falls without any issue. No real defense from GG there, as you would expect. There's still 2 tier 2s on the map, and it looks like that might be what Baba's Kitchen go for, but I don't know. They're actually hovering around this mid lane as well, taking their time with this fire giant that should still be around their belts for, I guess, only about 15 or so more seconds. So they're not going to be able to do too much more with it, but they want one crack at this bird, if nothing else. They're going to commit the Dharmic Pillars. They're going to turn off the lights. Here comes PV in the sky as well. They want this fight. They want this bird. They're pushing back GG. The bird does end up falling, but the Kraken comes out and gets the kill onto Jungle Scrub as well. Davo does get into the back line and get the return kill, but PV is living with a sliver of HP right now. And look where Davo is. Great blink out of PV to live there. It will be one kill back in favor of Baba's Kitchen, but Marchie answers back immediately with a kill on to Paradox. PV with no health remaining will end up falling to Marchie, who gets a double kill on that Thanatos. The bird falls, but so do quite a bit of members of Baba's Kitchen.
Yeah, the good news for Baba's Kitchen here is that the ADC in mid for Going Ghost went down. Most importantly, the ADC. If Jungle Scrub was able to survive that fight, Fire Giant could have been on the table here before Baba's Kitchen was able to respawn. Was a little bit of a risky push there, doing it as their Fire Giant was wearing off. But look, instead, the ADC going down means that Fire Giant will be safe. It should just be a good old-fashioned 5v5 there, but one that is very heavily in the favor of Baba's Kitchen. Up 11,000 gold, mid Phoenix down, builds almost complete, and you look at the side of Going Ghost, they are a long ways away from being full build on a couple different members.
Yeah, definitely really feeling this gold advantage that's happening so far in this game. And I mean, you called it though with what Davo was able to do on the Bologna. Got into the backline, took some 1v1s, and it just worked. There was really nothing that the members of Baba Kitchen could do. So this Bologna build, while kind of greedy, it seems like Davo knows how to play it. Do you want to see some sort of like shift in what Baba's Kitchen is doing to handle that?
It's really just trying to make sure your backliners are together. As long as they're together, the Bologna's not that scary. If he disarms the X-Ball, Poseidon's got to be there to kind of help CC and do some damage to Dave so he's not able to just walk at the X-Ball. If they get split up, that's where the troubles start. So gotta stay grouped together and keep an eye on where Bologna is if she's able to ult in uncontested. There we go. That's the word. Can be troublesome in the backline. Has that beat as well, but Kraken flinging here.
Yeah, just throwing that one out there in the poke war while the Pyromancer gets done by Baba's Kitchen. They'll grab yet another runic bomb for themselves. They use 2 on that mid-bird as well in that last engagement. That's a lot of poke actually onto Chef Baba. Has the transformation though, and that's the go button for this Baba's Kitchen team. Lots of damage onto Davo, who has to Eagles rally out. Both junglers are up in the sky waiting for a place to land. PB will pull the trigger immediately. Marchie follows, but Marchie's the one in the most trouble, and the Thanatos will end up falling. Low health for the support of Going Ghost as well, but fairly tanky on this Charon. Has some help from the E-Shell as well. Fire Giant forgotten about for a moment as Baba Kitchen storm forward trying to find any picks that they can, and they might have found one on to Davo, who gets trapped between 4 members. And with a build like that, you said he had to take the 1v1s. Well, the 4v1 doesn't work out at all.
Yeah, 4v1 not gonna go the way of Davo, especially not without the ultimate. Tier 2 tower goes down, just kind of because that's where they found themselves at the end of the fight. Honestly, don't hate that at all. And now, falling back to that Fire Giant, has ticked over to the enhanced version thanks to that team fight breaking out. Baba's Kitchen pulling it right away. They do have 2 members in base who are still on their way. Going Ghost, if they smell this out, can try and fight before the Ratatoskr and Ganesha get here.
Looks like they're thinking about it. They are aware of the HP of the Fire Giant. PV is up in the sky. Fire Giant very low, and Going Ghost will take that Fire Giant away. PV answers back with a kill immediately. Good route trying to make it out for Turbo, but can't get away. Fire Giant goes the way of GG, but 2 kills immediately going the way of Baba's Kitchen. They can't keep the mid Phoenix alive either. I mean, it's got to be worth it to steal EFG, but is it at all helpful if you're Going Ghost, or is it just kind of delay things?
Just kind of delays things, but that in itself is helpful.
Fair.
As more time for your carries to get their items online, you still don't have starter on your Hachimon. Ixchel still missing a full item. No starter on the Thanatos either, so lots of room for scaling still on the Going Ghost side. So buying yourself a few extra minutes to get some farm is very helpful. They do need to defend this left side Phoenix. Baba's Kitchen could look for a push here. They still have 10 seconds without the mid laner. Jungle Scrub just about to respawn now.
It looks like they're just gonna go for it. They throw out the Dharmic Pillars just to deal with Charon alone, who throws out that wave, but the left bird is just gone. Absolutely deleted with the help of that runic bomb and just all the damage. But PV, in a world of trouble, gets up into the sky, but now the chase is on for GG, and Marchie will get the kill onto Chef Baba, the Cucullin falling, and Davo is just stuck on to the elephant here, trying to get even more damage. Poseidon is fast, but are you fast enough to get away from this Going Ghost team? Good blink there to make sure that they do make it out. That was not a blink, that was a back coming through, excuse me, and they are quick enough to make it away. Was it? I got
From
completely
Poseidon.
lost. Okay.
Yeah, the Poseidon has blink. Don't ask questions, he has blink.
Okay, yeah, I did not notice that until this moment. So good blink to make it away, because I don't think they would have been fast enough. Going Ghost is chased all the way down. They'll get a tier 2 and left on their own, but here's the Dharmic Pillars. They want to try and turn something around, or at least Rory does, but he might just turn around his life as he does end up falling. Scooby Daddy will answer back with a kill onto Jungle Scrub. But it's 2 birds down for the side of GG and a Poseidon that doesn't have blink anymore, I guess. I'm still caught up on that.
PV heads through the Cosmos here, could look to collapse. There's just two with EFG, not as scary. Catches the Thanatos sleeping a little bit.
Beads come out and it's just not enough for Marchie, and here's Peavy up in the sky, turning around even more, gets the beads out of the Ish shell, but that's a lot of damage onto the support at the same time. Both ultimates getting used. Ooh, the burst damage that comes out there, not enough to get the kill onto Peavy, but Shrimp Warrior will end up falling, maybe to save the life of their mid laner. Turbo on the run, trying to make it back, but there's no Phoenix, there's no bird. Peavy blinks into death with the dash. Chef Baba will clean up that kill, but not before their jungler ends up falling. They're looking to maybe end here. It's Davo versus the world. Jungle Scrub up in 6 seconds. Do they have the DPS with this fire wave to get the kill on the Titan? They have a Kraken. They have a kill on Davo, and they do have enough. Baba's Kitchen will get a 34-minute game 1 win to kick us off here in quarterfinals.
What a back and forth last couple segments there. Go steal the fire giant. Baba's Kitchen push back down, get a Phoenix, get chased out, lose a couple, goes over push off of that. They respawn, push them down, and finally get a 2 for 4 in the favor of Baba's Kitchen, and that is enough to run it down and end the game. But what an explosive ending to that game.
I don't feel like I had recovered from the fact that Poseidon had Blink and then the game was over. Like, that was just an explosive end. But if you're Baba's Kitchen, it's got to feel good. You just kind of storm the gates there and get that game 1 win. You have the momentum now. What do you want to see from GG to try and kind of save this set? Because it's match point now.
Probably need to see something a little bit different out of support. I don't think Charon really got to do what it wants that game. Charon's really only good if you're being able to be aggressive on it. He struggles to peel out in a lot of places. The Ixchel looked fine. I mean, you're taking a look at the damage numbers, kept up in damage, but the 8 deaths is kind of characteristic of that character. It is just hard to stay alive on the Ixchel. I respect the flavor pick, but probably want to see something a little bit safer, a little bit more in the relative meta of the mid lane for Turbo there.
Yeah, I'd agree with both of those. And I feel like, GG, they had some really good plays. They had some really good kind of moments in that game throughout the entirety of it. And so I feel like they have the potential to turn this into a full 3-game set. And that's what they are going to be wanting to do. We'll have to find out if they're able to get it done when we get back here on Frank's retirement home. Game 2 of Walker's quarterfinals coming your way in just a few moments. Welcome back, everybody, to this quarterfinals matchup here in the Walker division on Frank's retirement home. I am still Dr. Shrew, joined by Halanu, and we're about to head into game two between GG and Baba's Kitchen. If you missed game one, it was a bit back and forth. Baba's Kitchen kind of felt like they had control for a majority of that game, but an explosive end gave them that win, and they have the momentum going into game two here. When it comes specifically to bans, Halani, what do you want to see shift up from GG? Is there something that you're immediately saying, yeah, they don't get to have that again?
I don't think there's any one standout. Hey, let's not give them that pick again. Pick for Baba's Kitchen. If anything, maybe the Ratatosker needs to go. It had quite a high impact that game, but honestly, I think it was just down to execution for the most part. Nothing stood out that much draft wise. I mean, the Cucullin was a problem for sure, but can you really afford to ban Cucullin? Probably not. So, I think we'll likely see that again from Chef Baba if they decide to go that way, but we'll find out here. Picks and bans come through Cuckoo, Cthulhu, X-Ball, and Ganesha. And noticeably here, the X Ball going to get taken away, so they will not have that. Maybe they didn't like that with in addition to the Ratatasker. And also the Ganesha not going to be part of this game.
Yes, neither will the Hachiman. They take that away from themselves. Going to mix up what Jungle Scrub's going to be playing. That tells me they are not wanting to first pick the Hachiman. They'll get rid of that one instead. I, you said Cuckoo Cthulhu, and I kind of want to try saying that 3 times fast. That's kind of fun.
And a Kuchu, Cucullin.
Yeah, yeah. Oh God, now I never want to cast a game with all three of them in there. That sounds
Well,
horrible.
luckily for you, two of those will not be in the game. Really taking some time here is Baba's Kitchen on that last ban going to take away the Agni once again. And Jing Chen banned away in the first game, going to be snap locked in here for the side of Going Ghost. But in return, going to be that Odin coming through, been a perma banned character, going to fall into the hands of Chef Baba.
Yeah, I was all ready to talk about how Jing Qian is a strong solo laner, as you mentioned in the desk in game one. But I mean, how do you not talk about the Odin? He's just so good right now. I'm a little shocked that it not only made it through the first phase of bans, but it made it through first pick. That's got to feel pretty good if you're on the side of Baba's Kitchen.
Yeah, this has gotta just be Devo saying, I want the Jing Chen. I don't care about you guys. The Odin, obviously, Jing Chen doesn't care about the Odin at all. Like,
Mhm.
not even a little bit. It's not a great lane for him, but Odin's not super dominant in lane. Jing Chen will just survive, be able to jump out of the cage, no problems at all. And you did pick the Odin very early, so you can be careful here with your picks around it. Make sure you don't pick too many things that get locked down by that cage. We see Gilgamesh locked in here, should be for the jungle character that doesn't care about that cage all too much, so good in that sense. We do have to talk about the Izanami locked in here
Mhm.
for Paradox. Not a character we see him a lot of, has a crazy amount of duo lane pressure, but can struggle a little bit in that mid to late game. Has her dash is very predictable, doesn't have that CC immunity on her ultimate, can have a hard time surviving in the late game.
Yeah, 100%. This to me, even without seeing the rest of this Baba Kitchen draft, they're saying they want to win quickly. They want to put this to bed. They want to move on from the quarterfinals because, as you mentioned, just so strong in that early game. No one can really out clear her at the beginning, and so you just, if you're Baba's Kitchen, you got to be hoping to just use that early pressure to snowball this game and get one of those, 20-minute victories. Or on the other side, going Ghost. I would say just based on the top three, they're kind of doing the opposite.
Yeah, a little bit slower Jing Chen, pretty low pressure Merlin as well. Gilgamesh does have potential to be active early on, that level 6 7 mark, especially once he picks up that first item from his passive. If he gets an offensive minded item there, can be doing quite a bit of damage. But Thoth going to get locked in here. Some very meta top three picks coming from Baba's Kitchen. It got banned away last game in that bottom half. This time, Scooby Daddy wants to make sure he gets his hands on it.
I know you were not referencing the Itsunami, but it makes me chuckle to hear you say meta picks coming in the top three, and there's an Itza on the side of Baba's Kitchen. That I don't remember the last time that she was like meta, but
It's been a
otherwise I agree.
while. It's been a
Yeah,
long time.
the
Hey, at least
Thoth
she's
is
playable now.
crazy. Yeah, yeah, she is. She's not. You're not immediately throwing if you lock her
Oh,
in, so I don't mind it at all.
there was a good couple weeks there where Izanami and the Rama AoE autos were not stacking Devos correctly, so she was literally unplayable
Oh,
because you
jeez.
you could barely stack Devos, which turns out is pretty important in the ADC role these days. Bans coming through, Rama and Ishtar taken away. They don't want to allow Jungle Scrub to have an ADC that can match the pressure of this Izanami. And on the other side, going to be the Thanatos and the Ratatosker taken away. No more semi-globals for PV unless he goes to the Thor, which is still on the table.
That's kind of crazy that that's the semi global that's left up and available. But I also know PV and know that he really likes the rat. He really likes the Thanatos. So there's a good bans against him in particular. And there it is. Semi global was never not going to come through for this man in the jungle. Will lock in the Thor for their team. This is a really good top four out of Baba's Kitchen. I really like the draft they have so far.
Yeah, it's very. I like it. It's a lot of team fight. They need CC out of their support pretty badly here. As long as they pick a nice setup support, set up this abilities for the Staff, get some peel for the Izanami. Odin has that great cage, but not a ton of CC outside of that. I think a good team fight support here would round out this Baba's Kitchen's draft nicely. And speaking of rounding out your drafts, a Kuzembo and an On Her locked in here. So we'll have to see which Guardian ends up going into the duo lane. Assume it's going to be Kuzenbo over into the duo lane. Probably want to keep Xingchen into the lane with Odin, where he has that jump to get away from the cage. But could potentially see a little bit of flex there. Kuzenbo on her has a lot of fight over in that duo lane, but not the best clear again. And Kuzenbo sometimes can just kind of walk at the Izanami and make her life a little bit annoying, but really comes down to this last support pick here for Baba's Kitchen.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said there. I kind of hope it is Jingqian in the solo lane. But is there a world where this Odin goes support? No. Charon getting hovered, I assume. Not that Charon can't solo, but I was ready to have a conspiracy theory about maybe we see Odin's support return. But I'm just wrong, right?
There there is a world. It's playable. I don't think it's his best role, but it is playable if you got to the end of your draft and you're like, man, I really want Odin in the support role here. It's it's not bad. He does have some CC. He is very survivable. The cage being in your mid game team fights more often can be a nice touch, but he really does better over in that solo lane. Expect to see him go there. Just gets a lot tankier, becomes more of an offensive threat instead of just being reliant on that cage.
Yeah, 100% agree. And spoiler alert, we can see player names. Chef Baba is the one on that
Spoilers,
Odin.
man.
We'll be taking that into the solo lane against the Jingqian. I mean, this is game two of a quarterfinals match, right? So Going Ghost is on match point not only for the set but for their season. With what they've locked in here in game number two, do you think it's enough to keep them alive, to give them the chance to continue forward, or have Baba's Kitchen done enough to kind of just put everything to bed here and advance on to the semis?
I do think it's a pretty decent draft. I like the Kuzenbo at the end as a character that even if he gets trapped in the cage, do you really want to cast your abilities into a Kuzenbo in the cage? Sure, you're going to hit backliners, but it's going to get reflected back at you. Has a very good time locking down this Izanami. She doesn't have a good way of getting away from the Kuzenbo late game. Talked about how predictable that dash is late. Very easy for Kuzenbo to throw a Nene at her, then keep chasing. Has great disrupt with that watery grave as well. Going to come down to how well Going Ghost can play around this cage, and nearly everybody has a way out except for the Kuzenbo. Merlin obviously has a good damage potential back into this cage, and I think Merlin could be the key for this comp. They have two frontliners that can get very tanky, but Merlin, one of the best mages at burning through those supports. if the Charon or the Odin isn't careful, could get end up taking a little bit more damage than they expected from this Merlin.
Something I'm just noticing, unless we see some gods in some very weird roles, there was some role swapping going on for Going Ghost here. Marchi, the one on the Merlin who was Thanatos jungle last game, and Jungle Scrub could be in the jungle on this Gilgamesh, which puts Turbo over there in the dual lane on the on her. So like kind of wholesale role swaps on the side of GG here in game two.
Yeah, it's an interesting strategy. I mean, again, at this level where, some people might just, you're not as dead set into your role as you might be a little bit further on into your competitive career. If you feel like something better would work out, why not roll swap? I mean, it's the last game of your season. If you think it's potentially, if you think it's the best way for you to get a dub here and keep your season alive, why not go for it? Have some fun, try and work something out here in your quarterfinal set.
100% agreed. Especially, I mentioned it earlier. I feel like it's talked about a lot in games more to this level of comfort being so important. Like if you have your ADC, but they're really comfortable on Gilgamesh jungle, swap things around. There's definitely nothing wrong with that. As we hop onto the battlefield of the gods here for game number 2 of this quarterfinals Walker matchup, the minions spawn. And we're off to the races to see who can get this dub, who can either put someone's season to the end or continue this set, lengthen this set, depending on who you are rooting for. My eyes are going to definitely be on this dual lane. Pressure versus fight, like you mentioned. Do you think there's a clear advantage?
There was definitely an advantage for the Izanami and for the clear, and another little advantage here. Kuzubo picks up the purple buff by accident, or I guess more on her picked up the green buff by accident. Kuzubo just takes the leftover buff. But that is very important here. That green buff is a huge source of sustain for your support, really the whole game, but especially early. Kuzubo not having that green buff going to hurt him quite a bit. Gilgamesh lurking here, looking for a gank. Doesn't have to blink though.
Think might have stepped over a ward as well, so Baba's Kitchen back away safely, and there shouldn't be too much possibility for blood being spilled over in the dual lane. It leaves Marchi alone in the mid, but the level 3 Merlin, you're kind of just hiding under tower to clear the wave as it is.
Yeah, especially into Thoth. Merlin's not going to get particularly aggressive in that lane ever unless Thoth kind of plays a little loose with his dash, which Thoth players are known to just be dashing all over the place and at all levels. You know, there's many a meme about Thoth players choosing poking the enemy mid laner over literally anything else in their life.
Well, this jungler has not left over here in the left lane, and they are on the attack now. What an impale. The drop kick was good as well. A slur of HP is not enough to get Paradox out, and Turbo will get first blood. They must have just assumed a back had happened over there, I have to imagine, from Jungle Scrub. And first blood still goes to that early cringe rotation out of the jungler for GG.
Yeah, nicely done there by the Going Ghost boys. It felt like Paradox thought they were a little bit safer than they were, held onto the beads through the impale, through the dropkick, and ends up paying for it. Did take tower shots were taken, so it was definitely close, but Beats probably could have helped him out a little bit there. Jing Chen trying to fight for this beacon, has that MP5 due to his passive, which should help him out quite a bit. It looks like he is going to be able to lock that one down. Thoth dash has to be used a little bit, a little bit early there, but not going to get punished for it this time around. No blink on the Gilgamesh, like we mentioned, and is down a level thanks to all that time he spent over in the duo lane. Got an assist, but didn't get the actual first blood to himself.
I gotta point it out. I can't not point it out. Turbo swapped roles, but took the item before starter over into the dual lane. The tier 1 Devos into the mannequins, but I'm gonna hold that thought as it's a rotation in from PB to try and get a little bit of pressure back in the way of his team. But Devo safe enough on that Jingqian level 5. No real issue of a death over there. But the real issue is still Turbo's build order.
Absolutely disgusting. Doesn't matter what role he's playing. Also, the only thing that came into my head when I watching that solo and gank was, "You fool! You tried to gank Jing Chen. That character is ungankable. Just there is no world unless he uses his dash in lane, which there's really no reason to be jumping in lane as Jing Chen. Your one clears the wave just fine. That character is just impossible to gank, especially in a match where he's going to be able to build physical defense. Not a magical jungler, not a magical lane opponent. He is basically indestructible in that lane. We'll have to see what PV decides to do, but think he'll be better off going literally anywhere else. Jing Chen's just so hard to kill. And you see this, Odin Cage comes out, doesn't matter, just jumps away, happy as can be, just a happy little burger man.
Yeah, I got a little close there, but it might be closer over in this dual lane. Good impale into the watery grave, forces out the Charon ult, but it's not enough to get any real kill potential there on the Itsunami. Does force the beads though, which could lead to further rotations in the future. Is that worth it alone there, just to get those beads out?
Yeah, I mean, you got the beads out, which is definitely a fine outcome there. They do have, I mean, the Gilgamesh comes over, hits a drop kick, could be some trouble. Does allow maybe this on her to get a little bit more aggressive too. Izanami dash, I mean, I've talked about it a little bit, gonna talk about it again. It's probably not gonna be the last time. Very predictable and slow on the startup as well. They're not fast on the draw from that on her jumping in, will still get knocked up, which could be a big problem about that beads. Get knocked up, impaled. The whole on her combo, the classic, could spell some troubles for Paradox over there about the beads. Speaking of in trouble, he's still a dash. Never mind, he's fine.
Yeah. No issue over there, but good place. Nothing else from Shrimp Warrior. You got to worry about that in the future if you're going to be able to just get pushed underneath the tower. Taking a look at some of the builds here, besides the out of order mannequins devos, everything seems fairly standard in my eyes, except for maybe the Death's Toll, which you don't see as much in ADC. Is that just an Itsunami thing?
I mean, not really. It's actually interesting to see it on her. I mean, Paradox built this Death Toll on the X-Ball as well, so maybe it just might be something that he likes. Desert Fury for the wave. We love to see it. Doesn't mean he's not going to get aggressive anytime soon, but likely going to be getting his buffs and taking it back here, so it should be okay. Death Toll actually doesn't work particularly well on Izanami. She only gets partial healing on those AoE autos because of how Death Souls works. You get, I believe it's 33% of the regen because of the AoE nature, so not going to get the full benefit. Jin Chen though locked in the cage.
Ultimate comes out from the Gilgamesh as well, and it gets the Odin low, but he's able to jump underneath the tower. Blue buff successfully defended as well, if my eyes did not deceive me. So lots of buttons used, but no blood spilled, no buffs taken. I kind of like the aggression coming out of Going Ghost there to at least go for that blue buff invade, not be afraid to take those fights.
Absolutely, gaining an Odin behind is a good way to deal with him. That character's not able to get as tanky as he wants to be. Can have some problems in the late game. Nice little steal there from Paradox on her, going to jump in. Doesn't look like he's going to find that much this time, though. The Odin does have a heart root. First item, so he is not going to be lacking MP mana. I'll tell you that. Also, gotta defend the Izanami just a little bit here. Cause I sat with it. I thought about it while that fight was happening. If this is a Death's Temper with a full ability, full auto attack, like Silver Branch abusing style of build, though a nice impale from on her.
But PV's here to try and turn it back around, and it's enough that Paradox will get the kill onto Turbo. But I agree, that was a great play coming out of Turbo. If that had not have been a jungle rotation, that's just that sets the precedent in the 1v1 if nothing else, right?
Yeah, he just hesitated a little bit. If he just uses Desert Fury, I thought it was still down originally when he didn't use it, but it was up. If he just Desert Furies right off of that impale, doesn't matter that the Thor is halting you. You're CC immune. That is absolutely a kill onto the Izanami. Maybe didn't trust himself to hit the impale. I know I've definitely been there as an honor player. You throw out the pillar impale, thinking, "Hey, it'd be cool if I hit it," and you don't really expect us to actually hit it. Maybe just a little hesitant. to use the Desert Fury there, but a nice rotation from PV gets the kill, helps out his ADC, gets the beads away from the Anhur as well.
Yeah, yeah, that was just an absolute win for the side of Baba's Kitchen over there on that side of the map, but it's a win for GG in the mid lane as Marchie burns Rory to a crisp. That good kill there with what looked to be quite a little engagement. I wonder if they were trying to head towards the red buff, but GG just step up and get themselves a kill.
Yeah, nicely done. The Merlin showing how much damage he has early. A little bit of gank coming out onto the Odin. Jing Chen using the washing machine, but that is a tanky Odin.
It is. The horrific comes out as well, but not going to be enough to find any sort of kill over there. Both tanks don't really have the damage to do anything to an Odin, especially as you mentioned, has that heart word first item. So Kuzenbo Jingqian, they just kind of tickle.
Yeah, Odin's not gonna be dying to the Jing Chen anytime soon. We'll have to see where Jungle Scrub goes with this Gilgamesh build. There's a ton of different ways you can build this character in the jungle. You see a lot of hybrid Bumbo's Hammer style builds with him, but there are some people that prefer the more aggressive builds as well. I think the hybrid build's a little bit better, but it's definitely, it just depends on what you want to do. Do you want to be kind of that setup disruptor for your team, or do you want to try and 100 to 0 somebody by yourself?
I'm kind of wondering if the defensive tier 1 that Jungle Scrub currently has in inventory was purchased on purpose, or if that was picked up by the passive and the tier 1 Heartseeker is purchased on purpose or picked up by the passive. So that would kind of tell us what direction they're wanting to go in this build as they rotate over towards this left lane, but don't look like they're going to gank, at least for the moment, just in the area.
Please don't speak Second Eye or Heartseeker into existence. Just please, please, the push from Kuzenbo. Not going to find too much. If I see a second item Heartseeker from anybody, I will lose my mind. But losing their HP is Izanami.
Here's that rotation in from Jungle Scrub. The Kara not going to come to get some peel, but Watergrave doesn't care about that. It's Nami underneath the tower. Another rotation in from PV. Great wall will trap in at least the Kuzenbo for the moment. Lots of damage onto Jungle Scrub, but able to barely make it out with a sliver of HP. But can the same be said for Shrimpery, who might try to do some teleport shenanigans to make it out of this one? Just pulls everybody over, and Odin will just take the passive. Unbelievable. Chef Baba will grab that kill. I dig the attempt though to get some teleporter things going on. Scooby Daddy somehow getting a double kill while we're watching what's happening with the teleporter. Marchie will get that return kill at least. But there was fighting all over the map there.
If I am Chef Baba, I'm saying thank you for the 5 power. Have a good day. Absolutely the freest Odin passive of his career. Jing Chen just hitting the support. He's get the support. Rory Mercury just standing there taking it because his HP doesn't move. We love tank battles.
I don't know if I closed my eyes, but how did Scooby Daddy get a double kill? What was happening
idea.
while we were following?
We were all too busy watching the teleporter in the Odin gauge, man. Yeah. I mean, presumably, Thought was used, so I'm gonna attribute at least one kill to that, maybe both.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we just have to assume because the tank fight was just too fun. As you mentioned, Beacon, we're 12 minutes into this game already. Beacon's up halfway capped by GG right now, but definitely not all the way in their favor. Both mid and support just looking at the direction now. Good poke onto the Toth. That's harder to say than I thought, but here comes PV landing down. The Caron comes out as well, and Marchie is just gone. Nothing that GG could do to keep their mid laner alive there, and that should allow Beacon to easily go in favor of Baba's Kitchen, but GG don't have the memo yet. They're still trying to contest a little bit. That final judgment off the mark, and that could spell trouble for Scooby Daddy, who has the dash to make it out. Good drop kick. Gets 3 there, and in goes the tanks from GG. They do not want to give this one up. They do not want to give it up for free. Whirlwind of Rage and Steel pushes out the entirety of Baba's Kitchen, but the health bars are low on the side of GG as on to the Itsunami. This is very back and forth. The cage traps nobody in, but the damage on both sides continues to go back and forth. PV has to use the beads, but it's not enough as he falls to Turbo Wiener. The Beacon is still getting capped slowly by Baba's Kitchen until I say that. And then GG are now the ones in control, and it's really just Chef Baba here to maybe slow them down. But this is just an extended beacon fight. Actually, it's a lot of damage onto Shrimp Warrior, but it's more onto the Odin. Does have the jump and the shield to get underneath the tower. You can't even see his first tick of health for a moment there. But at the end of all of that, Beacon is going to go the way of GG at the end.
Yeah, it looked like GG was losing that fight pretty hard there. They lost their mid laner early on, and there's some beautiful ultimates from their frontliners, but Merlin was still dead at that point, so there wasn't a whole lot of follow-up. The rotation from Turbo was great, comes through, does so much damage in that fight. Jungle Scrub outputting a lot on the Gilgamesh as well. You noted that multi-man drop kick, absolutely beautiful setup from the jungler. And at the end of it, GG turn it around despite losing their getting that pick at the beginning of the fight and take a nice little needed beacon victory there.
That felt like a fire giant dance at 47 minutes with how hard they were fighting for just the first beacon of the game as the pause ends here and we hop back into the action. They were, neither team was willing to give that one up for free.
Yeah, solo laners made their way over. Almost everybody made their way over, except for Paradox, who unfortunately wasn't able to get a whole lot off of it. Got the bastions off of that tower at least, which is a little something, and it is considerable amounts of gold. And we see the execution already finished, and I love the seeing the bow. I hope this is just a Silver Branch pure stim bow. I think it's really good on Izanami. That stim is just so good on her one. You've committed into the Death's Toll where you're probably going Death's Temper. I love that if that's the build from the Izanami.
Odin under a little pressure, but so tanky with breastplate and heartward. And PV is in the sky. The blink in. Winston Tamash comes out, but so does the beads onto the Gilgamesh. Low health bars, and here comes the mid laner. Scooby Daddy Doo just needs a little bit more damage. The final judgment might not have the range now, and the chase is on for this Gilgamesh. But the peel in the backline to make sure the chase can't continue too hard is not enough to get PV away from Jungle Scrub, who does end up falling. And now it's Scooby Daddy, though, who's in a lot of trouble. The Horrific comes out to slow down the chase. He's still alive, but not for much longer. Shrimp Warrior will get credit for that kill. PV's not done yet, though. Rotating back into this fight. Marchi trying to do some damage on the Merlin. The second Horrific drops. Good flicker away to keep the mid laner safe. And it doesn't look like they're going to have the damage to catch up to Marchi. Kuzenbo kind of trapped by the wall there, but under no threat whatsoever. Ending in a 1-for-1, I believe. Jungle for mid. Does that favor anybody in particular?
And not particularly there. Honestly, Scooby Daddy getting killed there at the end is very important. Jungle Scrub is 3 levels down, which is a little bit of concerning going in. Finished off the Hydras and now taking that tier 1 cloak into a defensive option. Look like maybe an early bubble for this Gilgamesh, which I don't dislike at all. Helps out with that 1v1 and Thor considerably. Can just ignore the stun from the hammer or the ultimate, whichever he needs. But right now, down 2.5, 3 levels on the Gilgamesh. Needs to get some farm or maybe a nice looking shutdown onto a jungler.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a second item Heartseeker, though, so I don't know if I like it.
True. We're gonna have words about this later because somebody's gonna do it now because you mentioned it on cast. So somebody's going to do it in the very.
I hope it's in your ranked game.
Cast. Somebody will do it now, and I'm gonna blame you, regardless of whether you're on the cast of me when it happens. I will be blaming you.
Yeah, please don't do that. Not a good idea. I agree that the bubble is nice.
Now you gotta do it just for sure.
Just not in a game that I'm playing in. That's all I ask, then. That's all I ask, then. 17 minutes into this game, I don't know how the time went by so fast. I mean, we haven't seen a single Gold Fury. We haven't seen a single Pyromancer. We obviously haven't seen a Fire Giant. It's just been that one beacon fight. When do you want to see these teams kind of look towards these objectives on the map?
Merlin, it's a little tale of two team comps here. Merlin has a much better burn on objectives, where Thoth has that final confirm on her nearly with the solo kill, not going to chase any further for Thor. Walking on that ward there maybe scares off Turbo from looking for another aggression here, and actually wants to fight into the Thor, impulse him into the walls. And why are you here? Stop trying to help your ADC. And does half of his HP. The Honor is feeling good in this lane.
You were mentioning what I feel too of like not expecting to hit that impale like pillar stun all the time, but I mean Turbo's landed so many of them, getting aggressive now because the help is on the way. That pillar stun not gonna land, but wins a Samash, maybe expecting the impale to land there. That looks like some relics used from PV underneath the tower to survive. Good wall stun, and Paradox will scoop up the kill onto Jungle Scrub, who maybe didn't get the memo that that chase was not continuing and will end up falling. Teleports over though from the side of Baba's Kitchen. They want to take more of this fight. Jingxian takes some damage, but seems okay. And here's those objectives that I was just asking about. Baba's Kitchen gonna pull the Gold Fury, going Ghost, gonna pull the Pyromancer, but there's members of GG on the side of the Gold Fury. They might try to get both here. They might try to steal something away. The Pyromancer goes the way of GG. Gold Fury low, but Final Judgment is not good enough to get the Gold Fury. Going Ghost, take it away. PB up in the air, gonna land onto the On-Her, get the kill onto Turbo. Low health for the Charon, but it's a tanky support who can just continue to live in this fight. Paradox will get the kill onto Davo, and they will have to back up there. But now it could be Marchie in trouble. Has to use the beads. Is in still a lot of trouble. Good Aegis to buy a little bit more time, but they're going to dive underneath this tower. They're going to try and get at the Thorns proc. Not going to find the mark thanks to good peel coming out of Shrimp Warrior. How did Final Judgment not get that Fury?
You know, we saw a lot of Frank's retirement home specials on the duo side map. That's all we're gonna. That's what I'll say. It happens. We've all been there. You know, the chase by the Gilgamesh, a little off the mark. The Final Judgment, a little off the mark. At the end of the day, Going Ghost going to be the benefactor of those plays. Are able to pick up both of the objectives, and as you see it there, spirals back into their control. They were down a little bit now, just about equal in gold, but have an XP lead. Nicely done by the GG boys. And you just have to put pressure on the people. Final Judgment is a great secure tool, but you put some pressure on there, on her ult, does a lot of DPS, makes it a little bit difficult to line up that ultimate perfectly. You put him to the test, and you know that time Scooby Daddy just a little bit early on the ultimate, able to get stolen away by the Honor.
Yeah, it looked really close. I thought I was ready to call that it secured the Gold Fury, but just not the case, and it's got to feel good for GG. Biggest objective on the map, that Fire Giant, still up and available. 21 minutes in. I mean, I feel like you can't go for it until you get a couple picks, right? That's kind of the game state we're at right now.
Yeah, dead even as far as gold, and you know the little bit of XP lead that GG has is not enough to pull. It's not enough to pull a Fire Giant here. Definitely need a pick. Probably need two, honestly. Definitely need Thoth off the map. Pulling a 50-50ing a Fire Giant in front of a Thoth is almost never a great idea. On the side of going Ghost, they have such great disrupt around the Fire Giant. Kuzumbo ult with the whirlwind, with the winds of Samash. They have so much disruption that either team probably wants to 50-50 this Fire Giant. So likely gonna see just some farming here for a couple minutes until that Oni Fury and the Pyromancer respawn.
We talked about it in game one. We saw the bobble on the Thanatos. How do you feel about bobble on a Thor? Because it seems like, I have to imagine that's where PV is taking this build, going to try and hit that 50 CDR with a Bumba's hammer, I would assume.
I like it more than I like it on Thana. Thor is a character that plays better without his ultimate. He's able to make some more stuff happen, and you know, obviously the double tap with the wall is always just a potent combo, though the jump was just used by Davo, and PV's on top of it.
Yeah, trapped in the cage. Good Whirlwind of Rage and Steel to buy some space, but PV just needs a little bit more. The stun off the mark. Great blink out of Dabo, but underneath the tower of the wall, not enough, and knows they have to turn around because here comes Jungle Scrub, has that Winds of Samash, and is doing a lot of damage to PB, who has to use the Aegis to try and survive here. Extremely low health bar, but a good care on all. He's still alive. Scooby Daddy actually gets that kill, but Marchie shows up and will secure the kill onto PB. Final Judgment comes through, and there's good damage on both sides, but Scooby Daddy will grab the double kill on the Toth. Could be in trouble in return, though. Uses the beads Aegis to try and make it out. The flicker in from Marchie, and a delayed double kill for the other mid laner on the side of GG. This solo lane fight, very back and forth. Even the Hunters have rotated over here, and in the back line, you can see Paradox trying to dash underneath the tier 1 tower to make it out safely. Seems like there's no further damage going to come through, not enough coming out of the Xingqian to get the kill onto the Odin, but Pyromancer trying to get looked at by Turbo, and we'll be able to solo that one. So much happening on the right side of the map now.
So much happening, but with that Pyromancer going down, along with some Bastions, probably going to pick up this tower as well. Turbo getting a little bit of that split push action going on will turn that in the favor of Going Ghost. Beacon, Turbo going to be the first person here as well. That we do see the teleport used by Chef Baba on his way over to the mid lane. Honor does not know he's here. He jumps in.
Absolutely crazy to get that aggressive in this 1v2. Gets trapped in the cage. Jump should be back relatively soon, but has to use the Aegis. In trouble now in that cage, taking so much damage. The jump just never came back, and Chef Baba will get credit for that kill, but immediately Paradox falls in return. The wave comes through and does quite a bit to slow down the engage from this Going Ghost team, but there comes the PV ult in the backline. Jungle Scrub has to jump away. Beacon still getting charged up by Going Ghost, but slowed down by this Charon once again. It will go their way, and in the background, Washing Machine comes through, trying to take this 1v3 right now is Dabo, and pays the price for it. PV will eat up that kill. Watery Grave to try and buy some space, or maybe turn around a kill onto the Charon now, but good wall into Scooby Daddy. Damage leads to a kill onto Jungle Scrub. And now just the two remaining members of GG have to back up underneath the tier 1 tower, and this Oni Fury should just be relatively free.
Oni Fury should be pretty free. Turbo feeling themselves just a little bit too much on the honor. Has had a good game, but jumping in to the 1v2 comes back to bite them. Merlin trying to make his way in, but gets zoned away by the Odin. Is still trying to, and actually nobody's able to tank that. Nobody's able to tank the Gold Fury with the Odin going out to zone. So Marchie being annoying there is actually going to stop the Gold Fury from going down.
Wow. I mean, that's just the power of not having Paradox there. Don't have an ADC, and they did not have the shred potential. You're right, just stepping up as that squishy mid laner. I'd usually be too scared to do that, but maybe I should start doing it more often.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, I think Baba's Kitchen could have had Chef Baba stay on that Gold Fury and just use Final Judgment to confirm it. Odin, Merlin's annoying there, but shouldn't really ever be able to out secure you. And if he gets too close, can always jump on him and put him in that cage. Turbo is undeterred. He does not care that he died the last time he jumped in. He is back at it.
Might need to be a little bit careful, but has Jungle Scrub on the rotation. Two more members of Baba Kitchen rotating towards this Oni Fury side of the map as well, as they pick up oracles along the way. They might run straight into Jungle Scrub, who just pivots and walks towards this thing. Good wall, gets the proc of that. Mag Eyes, that's what it's called. I got there eventually. As Oni Fury is just being danced around. Normally when we have later game objective dances, it's on the other side of the map, but this is all for an Oni Fury.
Yeah, Oni Fury is important here. Would give a team an advantage on this Fire Giant or just to get some towers. So definitely worth scrapping over. Starts to get low, but here comes the wave in from Charon.
Baba's Kitchen get the Oni Fury. Now they're looking for more on the back end. Up, down from the Honor after the beads there is enough to buy the safety, but now might be wishing that that dash was up and available. The leap, excuse me, as Chef Baba has to run away. Aegis out from the Honor in the backline, fighting happiness as well, and Shrimp Warrior will fall there. Odin very low though, and Chef Baba will fall as well. 1 for 1 so far, but the chase is on. Now for Baba's Kitchen, trying to find any more they can. Low, and it's the fadeaway shot from Scooby Daddy to get the kill onto Turbo there. Good blink to get it out of the root, but the drop kick is good onto the Itsunami. Has to use the Aegis and the dash to make it out safely, but Jungle Scrub is not to be deterred. We'll get that kill. Will use the beads and is somehow still alive. PV has to use the Aegis, just a little bit of damage, and it's just not there. Jungle Scrub still able to walk away from this fight as PV falls. And he's just gonna get out. That Gilgamesh lived through absolutely everything, but can the same be said for the Toth? The Xingqian damage looking to be enough, and it is. Davo will grab another kill for GG and then just walk away from the Charon. What a fight out of Going Ghost.
Yeah, Going Ghost lose the Gold Fury, but win the fight after so hard. The chase a little bit too far from Baba's Kitchen. Some great juke shoes coming out of Jungle Scrub. As you mentioned, able to live on such low HP. And now the Fire Giant going to get looked at by Going Ghost. They have great burn with this Merlin. The Charon does have ultimate, as does the Odin, but it will just be the tanks for a little bit. Charon's in mid lane getting the meteor. My man has his priorities correct. Now we'll try and make his way into the Fire Giants.
Early Charon wave here to maybe try and just disrupt them. The Fire Giant getting low, but PV's in the sky. Fire Giant with a sliver of HP, and GG will pick that one up, and they will get a kill onto Chef Baba at the same time. Turbo will pick up a double kill, a masterclass on her right now, and now the chase is on for a bit more. PV needs to be careful in that speed buff. Jungle Scrub is all over him, but the dash with the hammer is good enough. The tier 2 in solo looks to be falling, but oh, that final judgment. No HP remaining for Turbo, but Scooby Daddy pays for that damage with his life. Now the Phoenix just getting looked at right now. Whirlwind of Rage and Steel used just to dissuade them from stepping up, but it doesn't look like they quite have what it takes to get this bird for the moment. You don't want to stand anywhere close to Scooby Daddy. That final judgment, like 100 to 2 Turbo.
Yeah, if that Soul Reaver is done, that is killing Turbo for sure. Unfortunately, had to back as a result, which means that bird is going to live another day. The good news for Going Ghost is, well, first of all, you get Fire Giant on 5 members, which is always some good news, but also that right Phoenix isn't all that valuable. Sure, it is a Phoenix, and getting Phoenixes is good. You know, that is a key point of winning Smite games, but you're really after that mid or that duo lane. Phoenix makes that next Fire Giant so much easier. This one's not enhanced, so not as terrifying as its enhanced variation, but you can put yourself in a very good position here to win the rest of this game. If you're able to knock down these T2s, get that Phoenix over in the duo lane, should make the rest of this game a lot easier for Going Ghost. It just comes down to how well Baba's Kitchen can defend their Phoenix. They have a very good comp for it. Thoth, one of the best characters in the game on that base defense. Final Judgment always a threat, along with a ranged poke from that character. PV, the walls can be very deadly to tanks trying to step in, look for a little bit of Phoenix poke, you get walled in and killed. Izanami, even the silence from that ultimate can be annoying, and obviously the cage from Odin. Really, all of these characters have great tools on the Phoenix defense. So if I'm Baba's Kitchen, I'm not messing with Going Ghost outside of my tier 2s or my Phoenixes at all. I know the Xing Chen is kind of trolling a little bit here. He is pretty unkillable, but I would not be fighting them outside of my Phoenix or my tier 2 because their defense is so good with this comp.
Looks like it's going to be a little bit of a split on offense from GG right now, pushing towards this left side tier 2 and keeping Davo in the mid lane. Don't often see the Xingqian on the split, but the tier 2 falls without any sort of issue in left. The tier 1 looks like it might fall as well. Final Judgment getting charged up, but PV was in the air, just decides not to go in on that Thor. So that's a big tool that is not available. And when Samash comes out, this is Going Ghost trying to get in there, and Davo will get one. Jungle Scrub will get two. Those are huge picks for Going Ghost as they now step up to this left side Phoenix. They're gonna start this one. The wave comes out to slow them down. Final Judgment does a ton of damage. Scooby Daddy is not ready to give this bird up. The Phoenix still stands for the time being. Davo gonna knock it down, but that should just be the end of GG's push right now. They do get that most important bird, but Scooby Daddy kind of on his own there just negates that entire push. Davo trapped between a few members, but as you said, this Jingxian kind of unkillable right now, has a little bit of support as well. And the Thoth route off the mark, but the chase is still on here. Maybe Going Ghost staying a little bit too late. Watery Grave, the cage lands, but now they're gonna try and turn the damage back around in the other direction. Davo has that ult back up again and uses it another time here in this fight. No further blood gonna be spilt. Just scrapping for the sake of scrapping. Excuse me.
Yeah, Bubble Jingchen, very fun to play against. Doesn't even have the Pridwin. If he has Pridwin there, I think he maybe gets a couple more kills for the Jingchen, but even as played, it's just so annoying, man. It's a double jump on a 7-second cooldown. How am I supposed to kill him as a mid laner, man? It's just impossible. And Scooby Daddy does everything he can on the siege. A massive Final Judgment nearly does enough to drive them back. Unfortunately, that suicide bird does go down. Paradox does a good job there pushing out a few ways, but this enhanced fire giant spawning in as we speak, going to have to be the focus here by GG, and Baba's Kitchen cannot give this one up for free. Baba's Kitchen going to have to find a way to fight into them at this fire giant.
GG already stepping up into the pit, already looking to try and start things off here. They'll go for the Pyromancer first, just get that little bit extra clear. I mean, does this need to be a full engage from Baba's Kitchen? Do you need to Hail Mary try to win this fight and get this fire giant, or can you just, is there another play?
You can definitely, you have pretty good disrupt. I mean, the Charon wave plus Odin cage and the Thor all Art could disrupt in the back line and try and give your Thoth some space for that final judgment, but Xing Chen does not want to give the Thoth space.
Not in the slightest. Looking for the 1v4 solo kill here. Marchi will show up and make it a little less fair. Turbo grabs one as well. They might not even need the EFG if they can continue this fight. Here comes Winds of Samash, and that's Bees and Aegis coming out of PB to try and survive in the midst of all of that. Charon extremely low. They're stepping in to the right side Phoenix, but maybe you don't want Jungle Scrub, the one tanking that one. They're going to use the Runic Bomb to get this bird low, and they don't need a wave. They don't need the FG buff. They'll grab that bird, and they're looking straight for the Titan. They're going to step into this throne room. PB's up into the air. The defense needs to happen now for Baba's Kitchen. Into the backline goes the Thor, but a great whirlwind of Rage and Steel. A great double kill for Turbo on her. It is just Rory versus the world. The Titan gets looked at. Rory will get one on the Marchi. Can he make the hero play? The Titan's just too low though, and GG will say GG and push us to a game 3.
What a performance by the Xing Chen and on her, going absolutely crazy the whole game, but especially in that late game team fight. And Xing Chen, for all intents and purposes, solos the Thoth. Marchi gets the credit for the last hit, but in my heart and soul, Xing Chen did 95% of that man's HP. I understand why this was top picked now by GG. Davo looked fantastic on it, and Baba's Kitchen did not have an answer for the Jing or for the On Her. The Izanami experiment did not go particularly well for Baba's Kitchen.
Yeah, not at all. And I'm starting to wonder now why GG had Turbo in mid and Marchi in jungle. Like, this just seems like their preferred setup. Maybe this is just with these specific picks, but Turbo looked so comfortable over there in that long lane. Marchi looked great in the mid lane. Jungle Scrub was doing what you need to do. I mean, a triple stun on a drop kick for Gilgamesh. That is insane. I hope that for game 3, this is the roster that we see in this order again, because they just played lights out.
Yeah, looked much better from going Ghost here. Really everybody across the board had a better game here. We love to see that. On the side of Baba's Kitchen, I think the Odin did do pretty much what you wanted to do, and the Thoth looked great from Scooby Daddy as well. So maybe some things to look at for your game 3 draft and try and keep some of those same building blocks in place. And again, the Karen support is 0-2 in this set. I'm just not a
Mm-hmm.
big fan of that character right now. He ate a lot of nerfs, and unless you're able to play super aggressively on it, he just struggles to peel and struggles when he's forced to play reactively.
I 100% agree. In some ways, he feels like the poor man's Atlas to me now in support.
Yes, very much so. I think, and funnily enough, I think Atlas is doing great right now. Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
so if the supports want these aggressive style picks, I mean, Sobek's gone unpicked, unbanned, and a
That's
set
criminal.
which is criminal. Exactly. Does what Charon wants to do, but just better in my opinion. Would love to see some different support picks here than the Charon come out, and Izanami can probably go back on the shelf for another couple seasons. I'm good on the Izanami. I don't like when that character's meta. It didn't look great this game. I'll pass for game 3.
Yeah, Paradox, you can save the Itsunami pick for Smite 2 when that drops. Otherwise, I 100% agree. Just put that one to bed for now. Well, I mean, it's all going to come down to game 3. This is exactly what you want to see in a playoff match. Push us to the distance. We'll find out if Going Ghost can use their momentum of that game 2 win to put themselves into the semifinals, or if Baba's Kitchen can bounce back and get themselves the set win. Frank's retirement home, Walker Division quarterfinals. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. For these two teams, it all comes down to this quarterfinals Walker division here on Frank's retirement home. Going Ghost and Baba's Kitchen playing game three to see who can advance to the semifinals and whose season ends right here, right now. I am still Dr. Shrew, joined by Halanu. A very intense game two, Halanu. And as we hop in towards picks and bans in game three, what do you expect to see and what do you want to see change up for either side here?
That is a great question. No more Izanami. That is my first thing. Also want to see Turbo staying in ADC. Not sure what their plan is, but looked fantastic over there. Don't want to see the Jing Chen go to the way of Davo. Was doing way too much work on that, and probably want to take that Thoth away from Scooby Daddy as well. Looks fantastic on that one in the mid lane. And some of my laundry list has already come through Cthulhu Band, but the Jing Chen taken away, Davo will not have that pick this game.
Something also worth mentioning, Busta Kappa coming in place of Marchie, who could not make game three here for this set. So we saw role swaps in game one, or after game one for Going Ghost, and now for game three, gonna have roster swaps as well. And I wonder where that means they're gonna put the various people on their team, because we've already seen that they are flexible in that regard. Cuckoo and Odin gonna be the follow-up bands, as well as a Bastet that Baba's Kitchen do not want to see. I mean, this has to be like a Busta special or something, right? Why else are you banning Bastet in the first phase?
I guess, yeah. I mean, Besta hasn't been looked at all this set. I guess maybe Besta is just Besta one trick. I can't say I know for sure, so just won't see that one this game, and we're also not going to see that X ball this game. They did not like it in game one, and not going to let it through again. It makes sense. I mean, PV has shown that he really wants to play the semi-global ultimates, and it's pretty hard to ban all of those away. So what do you do instead? You ban away things that complement it nicely, like this X ball. So I like that ban from the Going Ghost side.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's a good way of looking at it. Hachiman back to being that top pick overall. This time it's Baba's Kitchen who are gonna grab it, gonna hand that one over to Paradox and let them pilot that. Wow, I was about ready to talk about some interesting hovers, and they both immediately get locked in at the same time. Halanu, Going Ghost lock in Bologna and Vamana for their answer back to the Hachiman. Thoughts? I don't even know where to ask. What specific question to ask? Just
Yeah,
thoughts?
thanks. I hate it. Yeah. The Bologna, all right. The Bologna looked okay game one. Maybe a little bit different build change up. Maybe just gets into a little bit of a better lane. Maybe we see that Bologna really carry the game. Was close at points in game one. Vamana has to go into the jungle now. I mean, I guess it could be Bologna jungle too. Wait, Bologna jungle. I would honestly think I prefer Bologna jungle. I don't think we're going to
Hmm.
get it because Davo played that Bologna in game one, but I think Bologna jungle's okay. What we're more likely to get, in my opinion, is this Vamana jungle, and instead is a character that unfortunately got nerfed quite a bit, so isn't feeling great right now. And also, one of his best counters just got locked in the Thanatos. The execute so good against that character. I am very concerned about what the Vamana is going to be able to accomplish, whether it's in jungle or in solo this game.
Yeah, I 100% agree, especially as you mentioned with PV getting that Thanatos on the side, a god that he's comfortable on, and a god that does just kind of mess up everything Vamana wants to do. Going Ghost, this is game three. I mean, this is their season on the line, and they must be prioritizing comfort over absolutely everything. Baba's Kitchen, on the other hand, pair the Hachiman with the Thanatos, very meta, and then they're going to pick up this Terra for Rory in that support role. We haven't seen Terra looked at all set so far. What are your thoughts on this support pick lock in?
I love it. Absolutely love it. I think Tara's in that top five support conversation for sure. She brings incredible duo lane pressure. Late game does not fall off. Tara's ultimate is just good the entire game. and there's not great counters on the other side. Bologna doesn't have any great disrupt. The Kuzenbo has some options, but even that's not that big of a deal. I do like that the Kuzenbo was picked in general. It's not it's okay into the Terra, but Kuzumo in general a good pick, going to be going into the support role here again for Shrimp Warrior, and I do like that for their overall game plan. What I also like here are the bans coming through. No Kakulin, no Sun Wukong, and no On Her Scylla. I do think they could have potentially picked that on her in the top three. I mean, Turbo looked so good on it last game. I maybe would have thought about picking that top three for him, but not going to be the case for this game three.
The Syllaban is interesting to me. Another guy that hasn't been looked at all set, but is getting prioritized ban wise here in game three. I mean, is she in a good enough spot where you're worried about it, especially when Toth is still just available on the table?
It's a weird ban. I'm not gonna lie to you. Again, maybe Busta Kappa just has a crazy Scylla, but she's not doing great. Thoth was still available. It's a little bit of a weird ban. They also really didn't have very good setup for her at all. Kuzenbo and Bologna are not the characters you want setting up for your Scylla. But why am I talking about a Scylla ban when Scotty was locked in?
I know. The moment I asked the question, the craziest pick of the set so far gets locked in. This is head scratching to me, even more than the Itanami. I mean, Scotty, is she even like a threat? Or is it just
No,
Calder? Like, and even then, it's just like, what? I'm gonna ask you the really hard question. I don't want to hear about what's wrong with Scotty. What is Scotty bringing to this Going Ghost team? Why are they picking her? And like, how is she gonna help carry the game?
so you see, she isn't. There was what was it, 100 and something gods picked in SPL this last year. Scotty was not one of them. For she is all right. So here's my thing on Scotty. I'm hoping this is a mid lane pick.
Mm-hmm.
Scotty mid has a little bit of merit in my opinion. She does have a lot of pressure. It kind of falls into the realm of Ixchel, where you don't play against it ever, so you forget how much damage it can do. It can catch you off guard, and if it gets ahead, Scotty from ahead is absolutely obnoxious. Calder just one shots you. It's not a good time. However, if she falls behind even a little bit, she does nothing. And that is just the nature of the character. She has almost no mobility. Her CC really only comes through her ultimate. Does have a slow, which is nice. They are hovering hell. What is happening? They
They locked
locked
it.
in hell. I what is this draft, man?
I am at a loss for words. Like Bologna solo, Kuzumbo support. You're thinking, okay, I see this draft. Then Vamanen jungle, Scotty ADC, and Hell mid, and I'm lost now. Normally, in this moment,
It's
I'd be like, what? Who do you think got away with the better draft? Whatever. Like, it's. I don't feel like I can ask that question. There's
it's
a
not even a
Hachiman.
good hell game, man.
Yeah.
Like there's sometimes like they pick like Dodgy Jing Chen and you're like, yeah, Hell mid maybe goes crazy here. The cleanse, like what are you cleansing? You're cleansing Gilgamesh all sure. But like, I that's true. I I know my job is to analyze this. I don't know why there's a Hell in this game. I don't know why there's a Scotty in this game. I really don't know why there's a Scotty ADC in this game. Uh, I don't know why Vamana's in this game. I, 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 I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I've got no analysts for this. GG is going out in style or advancing in style. If they manage to win this game with this comp, props to them because I don't know what it does.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't even know. I don't even know what
It's
to say.
snowballs. It's snowballs. I'll give them
Sure,
that. If they get
sure.
ahead, it's 5 characters to snowball. So maybe that's the plan is just run it down. It's the end of the season. We're going out having fun, and if we get ahead, we probably just win. Hell mid does do a lot of damage really the whole game. She has to get very close to do it, which isn't great into Poseidon, but she can catch people again off guard with how much damage she does early on in the game. Bologna jungle, if it gets a little bit ahead, starts just walking you down, gets an early hastened, can be very hard to get away with. The Vamana can kind of do the same thing. If he gets ahead, becomes a raid boss, is unkillable, does too much damage to you. And Scotty, even in the dual lane, if she's able to get ahead, can bully out some characters. Hachi's pretty hard to bully out as far as just getting straight up solo kills with the Scotty, but can get some pressure and does have good high damage in her kit. She just needs to stay alive. But if you're ahead, that becomes a whole lot easier.
Yeah, I mean, you spoiled a little bit there because we can see the game, and anybody at home cannot. But this is Vamana solo. This is Davo on Vamana with starting like solo items. So that is the Bologna jungle that you asked for, which I was not expecting. But that does give a little more credence to this comp, in my opinion.
So here's my problem: is that we have Bologna Jungle, but we don't have mannequins. She's an Eye of the Jungle, Bologna Jungle, and at least in my opinion, if you're going to play Bologna Jungle, you, he needs mannequins. Like it's all about early pressure. That is why you're playing these warrior jungles, so that they have really good levels, like 3 to 10 as far as damage output, and then they transition into these kind of hybrid style builds. And they're annoying, can play setup, and can be still have some value late game. But you're really picking them to put out pressure early on in the game.
Yeah, yeah. This is this is gonna be it. Regardless of what happens, this is gonna be a fun one. How often do you get to see these gods in this order
Literally
in a
never.
game, right? Yeah. So
I don't.
we're gonna
I
learn
think if you
something.
pulled up the Smite database that I don't have access to, and you looked at how many games had these 5 characters on them in any conquest mode, it would be very small, if ever. There's a lot
it's
of Smite games that get played, but those are some not popular characters. So,
yeah, yeah. Especially right now. This is gonna be an interesting one. I agree with what you were saying. Either they are going out in style or they are getting the coolest win of Walker Division this season because this is just insane. Duo pressure immediately going the way of Baba's Kitchen. Can you be surprised when there's a Scotty on the other
no,
side?
Scotty's pressure not great in lane, and Terra's pressure very, very, very good in lane. Is into that realm where she almost just auto wins you lane. At this point, the push under the tower is the Hachi. Nice push there by Shrimp Warrior. Hachi clears very well as well. So really, almost regardless of what Going Ghost picked here, they were going to lose duo pressure. Just happens to be a Scotty.
Yeah, yeah. This is. I'm just gonna. I feel like we're gonna talk about this Scotty a lot this game, either in a question mark way or in a oh my god, how is Turbo doing this way. But be prepared to hear the name Scotty and Calder quite a bit, I would imagine.
Absolutely over in the soul lane. I mean, it didn't even like with all the craziness, I didn't even register that we have a Gilgamesh solo, which isn't that far out of normal, but really has been primarily a jungler for
Hmm.
quite some time. The buffs that they gave him that were supposed to help him in solo kind of just put him back into jungle, just in a little bit more survivable, but not a character we see often in solo. I was getting bullied out by the Vamana a little bit. So Vamana ate a lot of those nerfs, so not as annoying as he used to be, but still has a very potent laning phase, does a lot of damage, has a decent amount of kill potential over there into some of the lower pressure warriors and guardians, such as the Gilgamesh, but fighting in the duo lane.
Bologna still over here. Jungle Scrub again, just having this early pressure in the dual lane. We saw it in game 2, sticking around for the shield camp and then re-ganking from that untraditional side of the lane. But this time doesn't result in a kill. Baba's Kitchen well aware of that tactic here in game 3.
Not going to pay off for them this time. Think if Jungle Scrub just went on the Terra there, might have been able to find themselves first blood instead of a little split focus from the side of Going Ghost, so not going to find any blood over there early on. But Thanatos also wasn't able to pull that much further ahead either. Do see a small lead in the mid lane. Poseidon ticks over to level 5 before Hell could be a little bit scary for the Hell there if they get caught by that Kraken early on, but full HP and did take that early back for the Book of Thoth, so should be okay over there. Buffs not getting invaded on either side here, which probably just a a good thing for going Ghost. If I'm playing Kuzenbo Scotty and I'm not getting my buffs invaded, I think I'm just pretty happy.
Yeah, 100%. That is just an absolute win. They are a little bit behind. Support ticking over to level 5 before the ADC here for Baba's Kitchen isn't something you always see, at least in my games. You don't often see that, but ends up working out. Level 5 reach for the junglers, though, which is a big deal, especially for PV on this Thanatos. Where do you want to see? I mean, is it just go kill the Scotty? Is that the game plan?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It is go kill the Scotty because they played Scotty. He does have the Aegis, so you just have to be a little bit careful about slamming your scythe into that Aegis. But that does mean they don't have beats. So when they get hit by the execute, they are going to take damage from whatever comes after it. Just gotta wait out the Aegis a little bit. Some mind games that can happen over there. But yeah, they pick Scotty. Just go ult the Scotty, and then once you ult the Scotty, wait 60 seconds and ult her again, and then do it again, and again, and again, and you don't really have a whole lot of ways to deal with it.
In this mid lane, you know, for as much as we don't see Hellbills might hold that thought, as there is some aggression from both supports over here on the left lane. Both supports using the ultimate, and shocker, it is Turbo on the Scotty who takes the more damage from it. Both junglers now rotating towards this left lane as well. Mounted Archer's going to come through and does have the damage. Paradox will get first blood for Baba's Kitchen here in game number 1. Eagles rally over the wall just for safety, I imagine, from Jungle Scrub, as that hovering death was up for PV and was lurking through the air. But just going to be that one kill on to Turbo to kick things off here in game 3.
You know, not the start you want to see from your Scotty, especially dying with the Aegis up there. Could have Aegis the now archery, maybe thought it wasn't going to do enough damage, but it definitely did. A nice first blood for the Hachi, gets his Devos done before Scotty's able to get their Transcendence online, so a nice power spike for the Hachi, going to make that lane just a little bit more difficult than it already was for the poor Scotty over there.
And that Jotun's, I believe, was finished before that rotation, so that ultimate gonna be up and available relatively quickly for the Thanatos as well. But I wanna shift conversation to this Hell in the mid lane, because I feel like we've been focusing on this Scotty with good reason for the majority of this game. Do you expect to see the kind of build of old where you go Book of Thoth into something like a breastplate in that second position to get the mana and the cooldown and that added safety?
Yeah, I think that build is fine. Hell's a character that wants Book of Thoth pretty much all the time. She just uses so much mana when you're spamming her kit, which, let's be fair, if you're playing Hell, you're spamming the kit. It's just how she works. Little blue buff invade successful there from the Thanatos. Should be a whole lot more here, but actually Ultimate maybe almost up, trying to look for more.
The Eagles rally up, down, not going to find the stun. And good disengage there from Chef Baba to make sure that no further threat can happen onto this Baba's Kitchen squad on the right side of the map. Though, as I say that, Scooby Daddy trying to find something and will get a kill onto Busta Kappa, but is very, very low. Good silence blink there from PV. The Thorn's not going to be enough to get the damage. And it looks like Scooby Daddy will make it out there with his life. But Busta Kappa falling in the mid lane. Hell and Scotty, the two kind of question marks on this team, already 0-1.
Yeah, just a clean solo kill from Scooby Daddy. Looked good on the Poseidon. Game 1 looked good on the Thoth. Game 2, and now looking at a good start with the Poseidon in this Game 3. Scotty fighting back in the dual lane. Ults exchanged there. Looks like relics hung on to by both parties, but here's the advantage of playing a normal hunter. You have the Devos, you have some sustain, and ultimates in the jungle. PV finds Jungle Scrub.
Yeah, just in the 1v2 there, was rotating to maybe help get the kill onto Scotty, who lives with a tiny amount of HP over there, and just up downs with that hovering death, gets the kill onto the opposing jungler. Rotations from the mid lane as well over here towards this left lane now. Turbo backs just in time to avoid the Poseidon and the Terra. Do they have the damage to get through this? Kuzenbo's out of mana. Doesn't look like they're going to commit too hard. This is a hefty rotation over towards the left lane.
very heavy investments over there. So we'll have to keep an eye on this Hell build. Is going towards it's probably a Spear of Deso here. Would like to see a breastplate at some point. It's it's just kind of a staple on the Hell build. It gives you the cooldown. It gives you the little bit of survivability you want. It doesn't hurt your damage too much because of what's off passive. But the Hell's in a lot of trouble. Here comes the Kraken.
So much damage, but is it enough to get the kill? The autos and the whirlpool, it is enough. Scooby Daddy do with the perfect amount of damage to get the solo kill in mid lane for the second time this game. Absolutely just feeling himself this set as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, Scooby Daddy not even going the most aggressive build. He is opting for this Kronos Pendant, not the aggressive options of either Splat Pen or straight into Doom Orb right away. That's pretty popular on Poseidon right now. Wants the Kraken up as often as he can, and he is using it for Busta Kappa. It's a great success rate so far on those Krakens, and a level down for your Hell's a little bit concerning, but another fight here in the jungle. Beat
I got
and
both.
red taken away by Baba's Kitchen.
That is a feels bad, and now they're gonna try and turn back around the damage, but PV can just go up into the air and leave without any sort of issue, and Rory's just too tanky on the Terra to even worry about anything. But the chase isn't over yet. They still want vengeance for their buffs that got taken away. They're trying to do anything they can, but look at Roy just kind of vibing, and here comes that Kraken back again. The beads have to be burnt by Jungle Scrub, who does make it underneath the tower, but the damage was turned around so intensely there by this Baba's Kitchen squad. They're just a roaming ball of death in the jungle right now.
True, I don't mean to alarm anyone. Never mind the Vamana. Okay, he's fine. Never mind. False alarm. I don't mean to alarm you. I think I know what Balloon is doing with this build. It's nothing good. It is. I believe that Mr. Jungle Scrub is getting ready for the crit Hydra's Balloona.
Well, I mean, it's fun. That's fun. That's
Hey.
That's the vibe of this GG team this game. I want the fun. Bring it.
Hey, if he lands it, if you bludgeon before you ult in, and you get the big bludgeon crit, you can crit for like over 2k. It is possible, but it is not likely. And but hey, if he gets it, it'll be a great clip if he gets it.
Ninja Samash used here to try and maybe dissuade some aggression, but Eagles Rally going to be used as well. Not really too much follow-up off of the back end of that one. PV's lurking in the jungle here. Could try to find something in return, or not in return for anything. Just try to find something. Gonna go into the hovering death. Immediately up downs onto the Bologna. That's a lot of damage. Just a little bit more. That's all that's gonna be needed. But the dash is good enough. There just wasn't anything Chef Baba could do. Didn't have a lot of mana. Wasn't close enough. And a lot committed to find not much of anything over there in right.
Yeah, PV's been leading these fights with his ultimate. You just don't always need to do that. I feel like if he blinks in there, lands the Cypher, then maybe goes up for the ultimate, tries to find an execute off that, maybe has enough damage. But as played, the ultimate goes down and the Winds of Samash goes down. So a nice little window for Going Ghost to look for some counterplay or just survive and farm, depending on how they're feeling about this. But Baba's Kitchen wants his red buff again. Where did the hell go?
Wow, the damage that had to have been Thanatos Scythe just absolutely deleted Busta Kappa. I think they secured the red buff, but at what cost? Here comes Big Baby trying to keep up with PV on the Thanatos. Could still be in trouble because of the Kuzin bow. Needs to be careful. Lands the site to get a little bit of sustained. Watery Grave not going to be enough to find the kill, but the chase is on for more underneath the tower. Beats Aegis forced onto Scooby Daddy here, but here comes the reinforcements. Chef Baba will get the kill onto Jungle Scrub, and up into the sky goes PV yet again. The damage is there, and Shrimp Warrior falls. Going Ghost thought maybe they were going to turn something back around there, and Baba's Kitchen just gobbled up a couple kills in the right lane.
The boys on Baba's Kitchen are indeed cooking, and they are eating well early on. But Mana walks back up here, doesn't have the ultimate, but no ultimates available for Baba's Kitchen either. Made sure he's probably safe here. Looks like the Terra and the Thana aren't too concerned about it. Maybe want to go check out that beacon in the mid lane, but instead it is just Buff O'Clock going to get their farm under control. It means Busta Kappa should at least be able to get that beacon for free in Going Ghost's favor.
Does seem to be the case. That'll be a little extra gold and XP in the pockets for this GG team. A little bit of damage onto the towers as well. Never hurts. Gold as it stands, just around 3, maybe 2.5k in favor of Baba's Kitchen at the moment, 13 minutes into this game. So nothing backbreaking, especially when, you know, I feel like we've been kind of harping on this Scotty Hell combo for a bit. They're not too far behind right now. In terms of kills, they are, but they're farming the map decently well enough to keep themselves within striking distance of what this Baba Kitchen team is doing. But PV doesn't want to give me a chance to let you talk, trying to get aggressive in the mid lane. Watery Grave onto the opposing mid laner, though, as well, does quite a bit of damage. Both mid laners still alive, but can the same be said for this Kuzumbo? I don't think so. Scooby Daddy finds that kill. Here comes the Bologna, though. Jungle Scrub gonna try and turn one back in the favor of Going Ghost. Sliver of HP remaining for Scooby Daddy, but is able to juke and jive back underneath the tower. Beads forced onto Jungle Scrub, and Busta Kappa will end up falling. PV gets credit for that kill, and Jungle Scrub will limp back to the tier 2 tower. Beacon goes the way of Going Ghost, but the fight again going the way of Baba's Kitchen.
Yeah, Busta Kappa cannot find their feet in this mid lane. 0-4 on the Hell. Only with that 10% cooldown so far, not having a great time early on. On the other side, you got 3-0-2 Poseidon is having a very good time. Gold lead starting to get into the concern part, up to about 4,000 gold at 15 minutes. Thankfully for Going Ghost, objectives haven't been on the mind of Baba's Kitchen, but they really should start looking at these Gold Furies or the Pyromancer. That Hell is in a really rough spot to fight, as is the Kuzumbo, both down 2.5, 3 levels. Going to be very hard for them to contest objectives, especially with the confirm of Kraken. Baba's Kitchen has a great comp for snowballing these mid-game objectives into a late-game massive lead.
You know, Turbo's playing this Scotty pretty well. Died that one unfortunate time, first blood, but otherwise is equal in farm, is equal in looks like pretty equal in gold. Like, just able to vibe against a Hachiman of all things over in the long lane, at least here in the early. We haven't seen too many team fights out of them yet, and PV might be trying to put Scotty on a little bit more of a back foot. Unable to find too much, but still getting aggressive on that left lane.
Yeah, I mean, Scotty, thankfully, at least while she's even, is a pretty hard character to actually get aggressive on. So as soon as you dash onto her, can drop that ice on both of you, can get you hit with the ultimate, and if you've already used her dash, can be in a lot of trouble. So, she's done a good job of staying even, as you mentioned, and should be okay at the rest of this game. Late game, the Kraken going to be in trouble, but this Kuzumbo could be in danger in the mid.
Oh, that's so much damage, and Scooby Daddy will get credit for it. PV up into the sky, but no real place to land, and we'll just land in the pit for the Oracles. Should be Gold Fury. That objective play that you mentioned earlier. Now it seems like Baba's Kitchen, with that one pick onto the support, are gonna try and pull the trigger on that. There are members of Going Ghost nearby. Can they steal it? They can! The Kraken was too late, and PV falls as well. Disaster for Baba's Kitchen so far. They will turn around, one kill into Jungle Scrub, make that 2, possibly still alive somehow. Is this Scotty? And actually, Scooby Daddy falls. Busta Kappa gets that one, and look who's still alive. Turbo, with a sliver of HP, is just walking freely out of here. Oh no, Bees and Aegis are not enough, and Davo will get a kill on to Paradox. What happened to Baba's Kitchen there?
Kraken was late, and then they just couldn't find that last hit onto the Scotty. Chase around for such a long time. Hell is able to sustain, dish out a lot of damage, and then Davo comes over to clean up one more. Just a very unfortunate sequence of events there. But all of a sudden, Going Ghost is right back in this game. Pull the Pyromancer. Mid laner still dead for 5 seconds on Baba's Kitchen. Just going to be down to Chef Baba on this. Gilgamesh does have the Winds of Samash, but doesn't have a great burst tool, and Hell's Confirm isn't fantastic, but it should be better than a Gilgamesh's here. Drops the Winds. Surely this gets confirmed, and it does get confirmed by Going Ghost.
would have been very worried had the tick damage from Winston Smosh gotten that. Looks like Chef Baba will be able to live after trying to steal that one away. But as you mentioned, look at the gold lead. Going Ghost have the gold lead, but it's pretty much negligible. This is an even game now. Beacon has respawned though, and Baba's Kitchen are the first ones on the scene. Gonna try and get this one for themselves, but Going Ghost doesn't look like they want to give it up for free. Here comes a rotation in from the Scotty. Turbo gonna try and turn a lot of damage around. The Kraken comes out and does so much to the Bologna. In jumps the solo laner as well, but PB's up in the sky. Misses the execute though, doesn't matter. PB will find the kill onto Shrimp Warrior, excuse me. Vomana trying to get in the backline to disrupt, has the thorns and does a fair amount of damage, but is getting absolutely melted. Beacon goes the way of Baba's Kitchen. They'll pick up another objective for themselves. Blink in, fade away shot from PV, unable to find the kill onto Devo, who's just tanky enough to live through that for the moment. And Baba's Kitchen is still an even game, even after the Beacon and that kill. Unable to pull themselves back near the lead that they had just a couple minutes ago.
Absolutely. Take a quick look at our build update. I have no idea what's happening anymore. Bologna is not going for the crit one-shot build, has a Kins, so I'm very confused building
It's ability autos, right? That's the thing.
Building two different builds at the same time.
Yeah.
Maybe the third item will give us a little bit of clarity of where Bologna wants to go with this, or maybe they're just winging it. I feel like that's probably the real answer is Bologna is just be building. You know, sometimes that's how I've got a good friend that, you know, he just be building. It doesn't matter what, it just feels good. He goes with it, and you know, at the end of the day, something is built. We don't have a second item Heartseeker, but we do have a third item Heartseeker, which isn't quite as bad. But definitely not ideal for the Scotty. I do love that they've upgraded their Jotun Vigor nice and early, get some sustain, helps out in those boxing matches quite a bit. And I do like what should be that next item of a Fail Not, get that full cooldown available on the Scotty, who is just ticked over to level 20, but could it be in some danger here from Thanatos?
So it could be PV in trouble, has to go up into the sky, off the mark with the stun. Are we just,
that's a bad sign.
Are we wrong? Is Turbo right here and Scotty's just the play right now?
That is not a good sign if you are a fan of Baba's Kitchen, that the Scotty was just able to 1v2 very comfortably.
Yeah.
Did lose their relics though, so that is something.
I did not see that. Somehow I must have blinked perfectly as that happened. That does make a little more sense of what happened, but this Oni Fury now going the way of Going Ghost for the moment. Baba's Kitchen is nearby. The Kraken comes out, but not in time to secure the objective. Can they steal it away with anything else? They're trying to do anything they can. Oni Fury very low, but Going Ghost will secure that for themselves. In the backline are the frontliners for Going Ghost, trying to find anything. Good drop kick will save the life of the backliner there, but cannot be said for Jungle Scrub, who falls to PV. Big Baby out and swinging away, trying to chase down Scooby Daddy, but can't find the zoom to find it. PV will get the kill on the Busted Kappa. Closer though than I imagined they wanted. Beads comes out for Scooby Daddy with not a lot left in the tank. Will use the Aegis and survive with the help of the entire team. Now in a 1v3, almost gets the kill, but PV will take the execute and get that kill onto Davo there. 3 for none at the end of that one, and the Fury going the way of Going Ghost kind of makes it an even fight.
Pretty even, goes in the favor a little bit of Baba's Kitchen, especially if they're able to grab this Pyromancer on the back, which should be pretty free. It looks like they're starting to group up for that one. Now should go down nice and easily to the Thanatos and the Hachi. Getting a pulse here, and shouldn't be too much of a contest available from Ghost. Maybe a Kappa from Shrimp Warrior might be able to get in and water Grave. I don't think he's going to be able to get close enough, and is not able to get close enough. So with that Pyromancer going down in the favor of Going Ghost, definitely in the favor of Baba's Kitchen, excuse me, definitely a win for them. Though, look on the other side, Turbo just split pushing away, gets a T2, forces the teleport, and that is their sign to leave, get out of town. Nice little split push to get their gold up and probably pretty close to that Bluestone Bridge.
Oh, look at this Fire Giant getting pulled right now by Going Ghost, maybe trying to catch Baba's Kitchen sleeping. The burn is pretty slow at the moment, and now Baba's Kitchen are well aware of what's happening. They might just try to take a kill onto a Terra. Instead, they will eat up one. They will eat up two as PV falls as well, and now they're back on the FG. Eagles rally to add a little bit more to the damage, but the rest of Baba's Kitchen is nearby, and Kraken is up and available. The best secure on the map, gonna try and maybe steal this one away. We'll get a kill to make it with the Kraken instead of the FG, which is still not been leashed. Going Ghost, need to be careful. It's a triple kill for Scooby Daddy. It's the fire giant for Baba's Kitchen. Scooby Daddy will end up falling, but I'd say 3 kills in an FG, well worth your life.
Absolutely able to get FG onto 2 and get 4 kills on the backside. In your ADC is the person that lives, which is just absolutely huge for Baba's Kitchen. Have that fire on the most important member on the map. Now Beacon, we're about to see a good old-fashioned slap off on the Beacon between the two solo laners.
A backup coming for Baba's Kitchen. The game can't be said for Going Ghost. Execute threshold met, and they're trying to get some chase on, but they'll just take the Beacon instead. That was such a crazy back and forth little moment there that ended in a 3v4. Fire Giant picked up Beacon. But take a look at the gold. It's 2K, 3K maybe between these two teams 24 minutes in. Like, we're barely even.
Oh, it's a very even game. I mean, slight advantage here to Baba's thanks to the gold lead. Also, their ADC having fire should hopefully be able to pick up a tier 2 or 2, but going to be a little bit hard. They do have fire on their soul laner as well, who is nearly full build, able to pick up that redstone, which is a nice big power spike, makes them much more tanky over in the soul lane, which is good, especially went for also a little bit more aggressive build. This game has an executioner of their own. You see the Hastened and the Kins for the Vamana. Standard big baby stuff. The own Primal Fear getting pulled here by Baba's Kitchen.
Gonna try and secure it, and they will be able to grab that one for themselves without any issue whatsoever. Now, looking to maybe take a fight in this jungle against what GG have going for them. But this Scotty kind of is a bit of a problem right now with some of the damage we've seen pump out. That was the ultimate onto PV, who is dropped below half HP, goes up into the hovering death, and is trying to find and execute Will onto Shrimp Warrior, and that's big for this Baba's Kitchen squad. Gets on out of there as Mounted Archery comes through as well, but the Eagles rally will get a stun. Here comes the big baby things you were just talking about, and Paradox is the first to fall. Turbo right after, though. Big baby still swinging away, but Scooby Daddy will get a kill onto Jungle Scrub. This is back and forth a little bit, but 3 for 1 is definitely favoring out Baba's Kitchen. Can they find any bit more? The drop kick into the tower is enough for Chef Baba, and now it's trouble for Davo, the last remaining member. Triple kill for the Gilgamesh. I called that a close fight. I couldn't have been more wrong.
I mean, it looked like it was going to be a close fight for such a long time there. Low health bars from the Terra, from Chef Baba, PV as well, but they're all able to sustain back up through various means. Fire Giant still available to the Gilgamesh. Thanatos obviously with that built-in sustain along with the Terra, but they don't get a whole lot off of it. They don't go for that tier 2 in mid, which is a little bit confusing to me. I feel like they could have gotten the tier 2 and the Pyromancer, but instead just the Pyromancer. So Going Ghost get a little bit lucky there that they don't lose a tower in addition to that Pyromancer.
Yeah, that is very true, but I guess Baba's Kitchen just wanting to play this safe, not able to take all of the advantage they could have had. Something I wanted to point out for a bit is the next item in this Bologna build we've been keeping an eye on is a Magi's Cloak. So a bit of a defense. So, but here's what I'm thinking. We have ability with the Jotuns. We have the Hydras that you talked about before. Then you have auto damage with the Kinshais. Now we have defense. I just want crit in that last slot, so we have every type of build that you can go with Bologna all in one build.
Yeah, just build
the Omni build.
Why not, man?
Yeah, that's what I want to see.
Surely it'll do something, right? It'll do something. I promise. I don't know what, but something will happen. Sprite will be played, and a tier 1 tower will be smacked by a Gilgamesh.
That is the plan for the moment. Hachiman teleported over here as well. The tanks just kind of beating each other up with some autos right now, but able to jump over the wall is Chef Baba. The tier 1 in solo still stands for the time being. Eagle Rally, though, gets the beads out of the Poseidon, but can't chase out too much further. PV around the backside, trying to maybe follow up on what Chef Bob is able to do, but decides to go a different direction instead. Here's a fight breaking out properly. PV up into the sky, trying to find any good place to land on. That's a perfect target. Gets the bead, take us out from the hell. The Kraken does a lot of damage, but it's Busta Kappa and Scooby Daddy who find the kills first. Paradox will get one as well. And that's a 3 for none in favor of Baba's Kitchen. Just the jungle and ADC left for Going Ghost. Fire Giant gonna be the call here, starting to burn it down. There is Jungle Scrub nearby, but you have to imagine this is a suicide mission to try and steal this Fire Giant away, but they are gonna try and do just that, and he does! He takes the Fire Giant away from 4 members, uses the beads, and they have to blink to catch up. It was a suicide mission, but a worthy one.
No way we are losing Fire Giant with 3 people hitting it to Blink Shield Bash. Or not even Blink, just Shield Bash. They sent the Poseidon they sent the Poseidon to stop the split push, who promptly dies to the Scotty, who now has Fire Giant because Bologna stole it away. Scotty's going to get a Phoenix. What is happening?
We knew it was going to be a good game, and it 100% has not disappointed yet. The mid-bird's still alive for Going Ghost. They steal the Fire Giant. They get a bird, the best bird in the game, and their defense is strong. They're just... I don't even know what to say at this moment. Beacon fight happening, but I'm just losing my mind of what we just witnessed afterwards. Jump away is enough for Chef Baba to make it out, and Beacon looks like it's going to go the way of Going Ghost as well.
I just can't believe 4 people got out secured by Shield Bash.
It's the build. It's too good.
It's too good. It's too good. Everybody look at this Bologna build. It is perfect. I am sorry for ever doubting it. Mr. Jungle Scrub, you are the goat. I am the scrub. This build absolutely perfect. You stole the Fire Giant. Terra is in a lot of trouble.
Terra is in a lot of trouble indeed. So is the Oni Fury. PV goes up, PV comes down, and a lot of damage onto the Bologna as well. Jungle Scrub's gonna need that build to survive through all of this, but PV cannot live through Davo, who absolutely is just swinging right now. Double kill for the Vamana, gets rooted out, but is now looking for even more. The Terra ult gonna be used to try and give them a little bit of extra sustain, and it was needed as a sliver of HP remains for Rory. The Oni Fury, long forgotten now, as they just charge in towards the mid lane. Watery Grave, not a lot of HP left for the Kuzma, gotta be careful, but will be just fine as the tier 2 falls as well. This is just turning into chaos. Going Ghost is doing anything they want to do.
Yeah, blessing in disguise there for Shrimp Warrior that he missed the Watery Grave, because if he'd hit it, first of all, I don't think he was killing them, and second of all, he would have aggro tower and died. So maybe it's just an intimidation tactic. Yeah, it was just a scary spinning turtle. I don't want to go near that. Surely it's sharp and like hurts.
I mean, Jungle Scrub.
Anyways.
Oh yeah, this is top tier casting all around, man. Jungle Scrub's got to have enough gold in hand right now to finish out this build, and I am desperate to see what you finish this build for, because I feel like we've learned 2 things today, Helanu. Second item, Heartseeker, and this Bologna build. That's what we've learned. Yeah. SPL's not around anymore to teach us, so we're learning this. This is what we got.
We turned in our time of need. Jungle Scrub shows us the way. I mean, what more could you ask for? Does get Protector. All right, we like that. There was a world that Seer was purchased. We do like the Protector. Good for Bologna. Good item. Big fan.
Crimson Claw. I want it to be Crimson Claw.
Wrong tree, unfortunately. If
you're
that is
right.
a Devos, I am leaving the cast.
Oh, no, you're right. You're right. That's got to be
It
a
is
Blood Forge last item.
1:20 in the morning. If this Bologna builds Devo's last item, I am leaving and going to bed.
Well, Going Ghost is not ready to go to bed yet. They are stepping up towards this tier 2 tower, and based on how the past 15 minutes has gone, I'm assuming we're about to see Baba's Kitchen get 5 kills and walk down and end the game, because I don't know what else to expect from how back and forth, how ridiculous this has been so far. But Going Ghost are just going to step up and try to take this tier 2 tower out. But it's being defended. Eagles rallying the backline onto PV, who has to use the bees to try and get away, but it's a lot of damage in your foreground pitcher as well onto Davo on the Vamana, but he's tanky enough to just shrug it off. And the tier 2 still stands. The bird on the left is pinged out. It is low, but Scooby Daddy's there to make sure it does not end up falling. Wins a Samash as well. They're hard defending this tier 2 tower. And it's working, at least for now. Davo jumps in, takes a bunch of damage, but is still alive. The Hachi has to use the beads, has to use the Aegis, and still ends up falling to Jungle Scrub on this perfect Bologna build. But PV's up in the air, just needs to land the execute, but doesn't. Off the mark, and it's Jungle Scrub still alive, and PV actually the one that almost ends up falling. Gilgamesh has to jump away, and Going Ghost might step in towards this Phoenix to try and get that one as well. They do a bit to it, and here comes the big baby. They're looking to maybe set this up. Well, I say that Davo was looking to set something up. The rest of the team, I think, rightfully backing away for the moment.
It was just a bait though, because while they were fighting on that right side, the left side Phoenix goes down to those waves. They were just trying to keep Baba's Kitchen preoccupied on the right side. Their health bars don't really matter because you have a hell. You took all that poke trying to keep them there, but now you can just heal up with your hell and go straight back to this Fire Giant. While that left Phoenix is down, Baba's Kitchen trying to make their way in, but they might be too late.
Yeah, Fire Giant very low already, but it might be getting leashed here. It is dropped by this team.
Oh, no.
Baba's Kitchen stepping up though, because it's not been leashed. PV gets a kill onto one, and now it's Baba's Kitchen who are on the Fire Giant. They're the ones who are gonna pick up EFG 35 minutes into this game. Going Ghost can't decide what to do, and it costs them dearly. PV with the delayed double kill. EFG around the waist of all 5 members of Baba's Kitchen.
Yeah, Going Ghost do too much damage to the Fire Giant before deciding to drop it. Is Scooby Daddy picks up Davo as well, who's trying to sneak a beacon. Gets punished for it, and Going Ghost falling apart at the seams. They did such a good job baiting out that right side fight, making the left side Phoenix go down, but then they don't follow through on the call to the Fire Giant, drop it too low before they decide to get off, take too much poke, and as a result, Going Ghost just pick it up and then pick them off on the fight. Hachiman going to get this left side Phoenix for free while mid side Phoenix goes down as well. Things have gone from okay to absolute dumpster fire for Going Ghost. Is Baba's Kitchen firmly in control of this game now?
What in the world is happening, Halanu? Now 2 birds down for Going Ghost. As you said, they are no longer in control of this game in the slightest. They are the ones on the back of it. Primal Fury and Pyromancer getting looked at by Baba's Kitchen simultaneously, and they'll pick up both without any issue. I mean,
why does Hell have Calamitous Rod of Duty? What CC is setting up that meteor on Hell's Kit?
the slow from Dark Stance 2.
That doesn't do damage, so doesn't proc the meteor.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. Wow, this game is exactly what you want at, well, it's not for me, but you said it's what, 1 something for you in the morning right now?
126 to be specific for us the East Coast friends.
This is a 1:36 in the morning vibe of a game. I love it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. The Bologna still hasn't finished their item. There's still hope that it's a Devos and I can leave.
Nope, as you said it, Blood Forge picked up. You gotta stick around.
Alright, I guess we made it this far.
EFG on around 5, right, for Baba's Kitchen here. They have 2 birds down. They can push towards this right lane. What do you do in this moment as Going Ghost? Remembering that you have a Hell and a Scotty and a Bologna Jungle. What do you do in this moment?
Yeah, so Hell's base defense is really bad because she has to be close. She has to be close range to do most of her damage. The good news is that Scotty can actually clear the wave for you. You do have somebody that can clear the wave relatively safely. You can throw out the ice. It'll clear most of the wave. That is all fine and well. You probably just have to try and counter engage here the best you can. You don't have blinks on basically any of your characters, so it's going to be hard to find a way in. But maybe once some of those ultimates come out from Baba's Kitchen, try and get your Vamana into the backline, try and get your Bologna into the backline, and just take a fight. You're down 2 birds. You can't turtle forever here. At some point, you just gotta take a fight and hope you win it.
Well, Going Ghost are going to have to do something to keep themselves alive here, to not be in that almost impossible position of 3 birds down. But Baba's Kitchen are gonna look to go in here. You have to imagine soon. Now's the moment. They're into the backline trying to find anything here. The bird is just gone. Peavy lands, gets a good stun and some damage onto the Bologna, but it's Busta Kappa who's lower. That's 1 going the way of Baba's Kitchen, but here comes that Scotty to answer back. Scooby Daddy falls. Good blink in from Peavy, but this Scotty is still healthy and able to make it away from the chase from Baba's Kitchen. 3 birds down, but game not over yet for Going Ghost. They're still alive. They're still in this, but you in a position that you absolutely never want to be in. Baba's Kitchen, they're not backing off quite yet.
Yeah, they have some sustain of their own, though their fire giant has fallen off, so should be a retreat here for Baba's Kitchen. Fall back to base, get nice and healthy, get some wards, get this EFG. You have 3 Phoenixes down. It is a very hard defense for Going Ghost. Get back to base, or at least get to this fire giant. Start it as soon as you can, because those Phoenixes are going to come up pretty soon for Ghost. Baba's Kitchen need to be in position to rip this fire giant as soon as it spawns.
Yeah, I mean, are we in Hail Mary territory for Going Ghost? Do you step up and try to take a fight at this fire giant, or do you just have to turtle?
Well, I would have said yes if Baba's Kitchen was on time to this fire giant, but they're giving Ghost time to get their Phoenixes up. If you get 2 Phoenixes up, and it's just your solo side Phoenix down, you can comfortably stand at this fire giant because you don't have to worry about your Phoenixes anymore. They need to clear 1 more wave in duo, but their mid Phoenix is okay. I would have said you probably just need to Hail Mary a fight, but now you can actually just try and contest this normally and don't necessarily have to throw your lives away for it. They do need to send somebody to stop. Actually, they might not even need somebody to go help their duo side Phoenix. That fire wave is dying. I mean, I think Going Ghost is actually kind of okay here. Yeah, that wave is basically dead. So it's just their solo side, which is by far the easiest one to defend here. And as a result, we're just going to get a pretty normal looking 5v5 here.
Absolutely insane. The fire giant now, all of a sudden, it's got no HP left. The Kraken comes out and Going Ghost get the fire giant regardless. Can they make it out safely? Jungle Scrub cannot, and Paradox will pick that one up. PV will get one onto Kappa, but Turbo answers back immediately. Rory will get the one onto Davo. 3 down now for Going Ghost. Make that 4 down as Paradox gets themselves a double kill. And now it's just about how long can Turbo stay alive, or can they fully make it out? I answer, I don't think it's going to be yes. The Terra all comes out, and they're going to ignore this Scotty to try and go end this game. Terra just going to delay as long as possible, but losing a lot of health a lot quickly, and that's going to allow them to back. Can they end?
It's gonna be close, and Scotty did lose their relics. Kraken not quite up. Yeah, it's going to be close. She does have EFG, full build, probably has a 500 as well. This isn't over by any means. Almost kills the Hachi.
The Hachi does end up falling. Turbo with the 1-man defense. Enough to keep Going Ghost in this game. Nothing Baba's Kitchen can do but run. Don't back there. Calder's here. And Turbo gets a double kill. And is now... Okay. I was like, there's no way you march down the lane. Might just go get this beacon, but I'm not going to be able to get the kill onto Scooby Daddy. What is happening? I've
Yeah.
been lost since picks and bans, Halani, and we're 42 minutes into this game.
If you had asked me, especially after First Blood went onto the Scotty, if at 43 minutes the player in this game with the least amount of deaths on Go and Ghost was going to be the Scotty, I would have told you you were crazy. Scotty's 7-3-7. She's doing great. She's top player damage.
Oh my god.
She has
What?
ZFG.
What? They're gonna get this bird. Oh, well, the Kraken comes out.
No.
We caster cursed it turbo, and they're immediately dead. Scooby Daddy gets credit for that one. They did get the bird. PV actually low here. Scooby Daddy will get another, but Devo will get an answer back onto PV in return. Low health bar for Scooby Daddy, still getting chased by the Bamana, but has some backup now. That could have been so much worse, actually, for Baba's Kitchen, but they will live for the time being. The mid-bird fall on both sides of the map now, but 3 members down for going Ghost for the next 42 seconds. Make it 2 members. I can count.
Be true. You know what this means?
No, I don't know anything.
It's an even game at 44.
Holy hell.
This is mid Phoenix for mid Phoenix. The solo side Phoenix or Ghost a little bit weak here, but for all intents and purposes, this game is dead even one more time.
Are they just going for it?
Surely they can't do this, right?
Baba's Kitchen stepping into the throne room. Here comes the Mountain Archery. They've gotten tired of this game. They are trying to put themselves in the semifinals right now. The damage onto Gilgamesh is so much, but the Titan is getting low as well. The Kraken lands, and Chef Baba will get one, but Turbo answers back. The Titan with a sliver of HP, and it's enough. Baba's Kitchen say, I'm done. Walk in and get themselves into the semifinals.
That is absolutely incredible. The absolute cojones from Bob's Kitchen to make that end call saying Scotty's dead, that's the problem. The rest of you can't stop us, and they were right. I mean, if you are half a second slower there in wipe, you lose the game for sure. But instead, the Titan goes down. The monstrosity draft from Going Ghost is stopped. And Papa's Kitchen will move on to the semifinals. What a game 3.
That was insane from picks and bans to the end. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. This is exactly why I love Frank's retirement home, because where else do you get to see whatever the hell it was that we just saw, Halanu?
Absolutely nowhere. Nowhere else are you getting that type of content. I mean, what a set. The fact that that game was even close after they were down 9-0 to start the game. I mean, I thought for sure the GG draft was just going to fall apart. And instead, they fight back, nearly bring it all the way back. But in the end, Baba's Kitchen found that extra gear, found the great end call, and it will move their way to the semifinals.
Yeah, there was just great plays on both sides. Scooby Daddy 12, 5, and 16 with 55k damage on the Poseidon. He looked good the entire set, and I feel like, you know, if we're gonna talk MVP for Baba's Kitchen, my money's got to be on him.
Absolutely. Scooby Daddy, Chef Daddy, Chef
What's his name
Baba,
now?
both looked fantastic the whole set. I mean, really played so well. 55k on the Poseidon. Can't ask for much more. I am completely out of brain power for this cat.
Yeah. Yeah, what a way to end your night, regardless of if it's 10:36 in your West Coast or it's 1:36 in your East Coast. Get some sleep after that one, everybody at home as well. That's going to do it for us on Frank's Retirement Home. For the last time tonight, I've been Dr. Shrew, joined by Halani with the ever wonderful Deacon on production. I mean, tomorrow, 7 p.m., 10 p.m. Eastern, 2 more, quarterfinal sets coming at you. These two going to be Canes instead of walkers. Stick around for those, because if tonight is anything to say about what could happen tomorrow, you are not gonna wanna miss it. Thanks everybody for hanging out, and we will see you all next time on Frank's Retirement Home.